Chapter 548. A warrior's entire body would undergo a huge change after a super-level upgrade. The current spirit body would not be enough. Therefore, the 9 elemental cores were needed at all times. That's right, it's the gold spirit core. Lin Bei nodded and said, Ling Xiao did not plan to accept the other party's gift, but he changed his mind when he saw that it was the gold spirit core. It was not easy to get this thing, and he might not have the chance to get it again in the future. If he missed this opportunity, he might not get it again. He was not a hypocrite. Since he needed it, he would accept it. Moreover, he was still in the middle of the Moonlight Pagoda's ascension ceremony. This meant that the gold spirit core could be considered one of his opportunities. Other people might have similar opportunities in the secret areas they entered. How could he give it up? Thank you, Elder Lin. I need this kind of thing, so I'll accept it. Ling Xiao took the gold spirit core and put it in his storage ring for the time being. He needed to find a safer place to use it, and now was not the time. Seeing that Ling Xiao had accepted the item, Lin Bei heaved a sigh of relief. Obviously, people would think that the one who accepted the item would not have any other thoughts. Little brother, are you also a member of the Golden Dragon tribe? Long Qin asked anxiously. Ling Xiao shook his head and said, My name is Ling Xiao, a disciple of the Yuehua school. I only inherited some of the Golden Dragon tribe's bloodline, so I can't be considered a member of the Golden Dragon tribe. I can barely be considered half of one. He had heard some of the conversation between the young man and the old man. He knew that the two of them were very friendly to the disciples of the Yuehua school, so there was nothing wrong with saying it. Long Chen and Lin Bei looked at each other, and both of them were overjoyed. I didn't expect that the successor of the Moonlight Heavenly Maiden would enter the land of the dragons. This is great. The conspiracy of the Black Dragon tribe and the Black Spirit race can be dissolved. Lin Bei said excitedly, Can you tell me more about it? Ling Xiao had only heard a few words before, so he was not very clear about the whole process. Lin Bei briefly described the situation to Ling Xiao, and finally said, That's it. Young hero Ling, you must not let the Black Dragon tribe and the Black Spirit race leave the Moonlight Pagoda. Otherwise, the Yuehua school, and even the entire Heavenly Dragon continent will be in trouble. Ling Xiao nodded thoughtfully and suddenly asked, Have you guys never thought of going out? Of course, we've thought Black Spirit races, Lin Bei said. But if I say it, you guys are too weak, Black Spirit race. But to be honest, you're too weak. But if you go, your asses. The Dragon clan in the Moonlight Pagoda was completely incomparable to the primeval age. They were even inferior to the Yuehua sect. If they really went out, they would probably be exterminated by those ancient martial art practitioners. After all, the Black Dragon tribe was full of treasures. We can completely transform into human form. We're no different from humans. Long Qin said hurriedly. It was obvious that this young man wanted to go out. After all, the Moonlight Pagoda was only so big. It was not as exciting as the outside world. Moreover, we can't cultivate the Black Dragon tribe's martial arts in the Moonlight Pagoda. That's why we're so weak. Only by going out can we continue to grow stronger. The Divine Sword sect flashed in Ling Xiao's mind. If Long Chen could lead the Black Dragon tribe to join the Divine Sword sect, it would be a great help to him. Let's talk about this later. If we can destroy the conspiracy of the Black Spirit race and the Black Dragon tribe, I'll try my best to bring you guys out. Outside, you have to listen to me. Is that okay? Ling Xiao asked. Of course. Long Chen replied. Lin Bei also nodded. Although he was a little hesitant, Ling Xiao was the only person to enter the land of the dragons for nearly 100,000 years. Moreover, he had the bloodline of the ancient Golden Dragon. If he did not trust him, who else could he trust? If that's the case, let's go together. Celestial Dragon Mountain. As its name suggested, the entire mountain range looked like a group of dragons guarding it. It was very majestic. This place was also known as the Dragon Emperor Mountain. That was because the Dragon Emperor of the Black Dragon tribe lived here. Moreover, this was where the Dragon Palace was located. Back then, Long Chen's father also lived here. Unfortunately, he was assassinated by the Black Dragon King and took over the position of the Dragon Emperor. Although many Dragonians knew this fact, the Black Dragon King was too powerful. Moreover, he had colluded with the Black Spirit race. Almost no one dared to provoke him. Of course, the Black Dragon King knew how to conduct himself. He did not massacre the rest of the Black Dragon tribe. Instead, he used the strategy of bribing and pacifying them. As such, there would not be too many Dragonians who would resist him. There was only one road to the Dragon Palace. It was winding, and there were many checkpoints set up. Along the way, there were many people. Most of them were Dragonians of various races. It was said that the Black Dragon tribe did not like the human form. The reason why they stayed in the human form was purely because this form was more suitable for living and could save more true origin. During the primordial age, the spiritual energy between heaven and earth was abundant. Even with a huge body, one did not have to worry about the consumption of spiritual energy. There was also plenty of food. However, the Moonlight Pagoda was only a small space after all. If one continued to live here with such a huge body, they would definitely starve to death. Little brother, Celestial Dragon Mountain, is in front. It is basically controlled by the Black Dragon tribe now. Long Chen pointed in the direction of Celestial Dragon Mountain and said, "Yeah." Ling Xiao nodded. No one knew what he was thinking. At this moment, the entire ground suddenly shook violently. Strong winds blew on both sides of the road. In the forest, there were constant cries and roars of beasts. Vaguely, one could hear the footsteps of huge monsters and the loud sounds of trees breaking and collapsing. What happened? Someone dares to cause trouble near Celestial Dragon Mountain? This aura is so terrifying. The pedestrians stopped. Some lay on the ground. Some squatted on the ground and held their heads. Some were ready for battle. They looked around vigilantly with a serious face. Ling Xiao frowned slightly. He released a true origin ball and could clearly sense that there was a huge humanoid monster in the dense forest. It had a single eye and looked very terrifying. A beast? And it's actually a peak level 8 beast. Before he could finish a sentence, the huge monster suddenly jumped up and landed in the middle of the road. Fortunately, this Celestial Dragon Mountain had a special restriction. Otherwise, it would have collapsed. A Cyclops beast. A peak level 8 Cyclops beast. Oh my God, how can it be so powerful? We can't be its match. Why would such a monster appear at the foot of Celestial Dragon Mountain? Wasn't the Cyclops beast tamed by the Black Dragon tribe? As they got closer, Ling Xiao could see more clearly. Chapter 549. The one-eyed giant beast was still holding a huge rock in its hands. It was basically a small mountain. If it were to throw it down, it would definitely smash thousands of people to death. Get out of the way, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Don't block the way, lest you disturb my pet's search for food. He did notice that there was actually a person sitting on the shoulder of the one-eyed giant beast. It was a man in his 20s, covered in shiny black scales and wearing a strange crown on his head. Young Hero Ling, please don't do anything. That should be the only son of the Black Dragon King, the Black Dragon Young Lord. Seeing that Ling Xiao had the intention to make a move, Lin Bei anxiously tugged at his sleeve and reminded him, "This time we are mainly here to destroy the conspiracy of the Black Dragon clan and He Ling. We absolutely cannot fight them head-on. Without strength, dissolving the conspiracy is a joke." Ling Xiao shook his head lightly and said, "But don't worry, I won't kill that Black Dragon Young Lord. But this big guy, that might not be the case." While they were talking, the one-eyed giant beast actually smashed the huge rock in its hand towards the ground. Ling Xiao coldly snorted and immediately soared into the air, throwing a punch at the huge rock. A golden halo flashed violently, and the light of the chi sword wrapped around his entire fist. Boom! The huge rock exploded in the air above the main road, and debris flew in all directions. Ling Xiao was pushed back more than 3 meters. The one-eyed giant beast's strength was truly terrifying. It was obviously above his. It had at least 20 to 30,000 kilograms of strength. In terms of pure strength, he was at most 10,000 kilograms. But even so, the battle was not all about strength. The one-eyed giant beast was obviously not feeling well either. A strange energy came from its arms, causing its entire body to tremble and its head to feel dizzy. Looks like if I want to kill this guy, I have to use a sword. Ling Xiao summoned his ice dragon sword, and then thrust it out 3 times in a row, using the congealing water from the snow lotus sword arts. For a moment, 3 parts of the one-eyed giant beast's body were frozen by ice crystals, and its movements became sluggish. For the time being, it was impossible for it to threaten the rest of the people on the main road. Those were all from the Dragon Clan. Since Ling Xiao wanted to bring the Dragon Clan out of the Moonlight Pagoda and let them join the Divine Sword Sect, then he had to let these people know how powerful he was and how great he was. If he didn't save them, he would probably be scolded to death. All of you, hide behind me. In order to show the weight of his words, of course, 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 of course. It was the Wei Long and Lin's way. And killing the Cyclops behemoth shouldn't be difficult for him, especially after he entered his human dragon form. He was almost certain that he would succeed. Roar, the one-eyed giant beast. Giant beast, there was actually such a little thing that dared to attack it, which made it extremely angry. Boom! The earth spirit energy from the ground actually started to emerge and condense with the one-eyed giant beast's true essence. In its single eye, it formed a resplendent light. Then, the light shot towards Ling Xiao like a laser. Dragons, roar! Ling Xiao did not use his sword. Instead, he opened his mouth and spat out a ball of golden flames, directly colliding with the white light. The golden light instantly engulfed the white light, and then directly shot towards the one-eyed giant beast's single eye. Roar! The one-eyed giant beast covered its single eye in pain, continuously letting out soul-shaking screams. The intense sound waves actually formed a gale, blowing the nearby trees until they were all whistling. Some of the weaker trees were even directly broken. So strong he can actually use the dragon's roar in his dragon form. This is something that only experts at the Dragon King level can use, right? It's indeed too powerful. That's a peak level 8 beast, yet it was completely suppressed by him. Where did this person come from? I don't know, but he seems to be a member of the Golden Dragon Clan. The Golden Dragon Clan suffered a lot of misfortune, so it's rare to see such a genius surviving. The old Dragon Emperor should be relieved in the underworld. It's rare that this young man is as righteous as the old Dragon Emperor. If it weren't for him, all of us would have died. Yeah, the Black Dragon young master is too hateful. He's simply condoning his pet to commit murder. Sure, don't talk nonsense. That's the Black Dragon young master. We can't afford to offend him. Among the crowd, the strongest was only at the Transcendent Realm's 7th layer. Against a peak level 8 beast, they naturally had no power to resist. It was also because of this that Ling Xiao's appearance and battle had shocked them so much. They were also very impressed. However, the one-eyed giant beast was a descendant of an ancient beast, and a pure-blooded one at that, unlike the hybrids in the outside world. Although the Moonlight Pagoda limited its talent and potential, it was impossible for it to be defeated so easily. It still had a very strong combat ability. The one-eyed giant beast was frightened, but it still has hands and feet. The one-eyed giant beast roared and directly swung its hands towards Ling Xiao. The Black Dragon young master seemed to be pointing out the direction for it. No wonder this big guy was aiming at Ling Xiao. Celestial Wind, Heavenly Dragon, Divine Finger. Ling Xiao did not dodge and directly pointed his finger. Combined with the power of Celestial Wind, the Heavenly Dragon Divine Finger produced a strange effect, like an inverted tornado, completely enveloping the one-eyed giant beast's hands. Asterisk cha-cha-cha. Asterisk before the one-eyed giant beast's attack arrived. Its hands seemed to have been cut by countless knives, leaving behind only bones and pieces of flesh. Blood dripped down. Die. Ling Xiao suddenly used the Cloud Dragon Divine Leap and soared into the sky at an extremely fast speed, the Ice Dragon sword in his hand condensing the true chi needed for the ice storm. He wanted to use this attack to completely kill the one-eyed giant beast. Stop! You dare to let this young master's pet? Are you tired of living? Finally, the Black Dragon young master opened his mouth. After fighting for a long time, it was obvious that the one-eyed giant beast had suffered a huge loss. Could Ling Xiao stop now? Could he listen to him? Of course not. Since he wanted to show off his might to the Black Dragon clan and show off his strength, he could not stop his attack just because of a single sentence from the Black Dragon young master. Ice Storm. The Ice Dragon's sword in his hand pierced out without hesitation. The terrifying ice storm engulfed the entire one-eyed giant beast. The wind raged, and the one-eyed giant beast turned into a huge ice sculpture in an instant. A moment later, the ice sculpture crumbled and turned into pieces on the ground. Bastard, you actually dare to hit this young master? The Black Dragon young master still had some ability. He hurriedly escaped before Ling Xiao's ice storm arrived. Of course, this was also because Ling Xiao did not plan to kill him. Otherwise, his cultivation was not even as strong as the one-eyed giant beast, and Ling Xiao would be able to kill him if he wanted to. So what if I hit you? If I kill you, I guarantee that the Black Dragon King won't be able to do anything to me. Ling Xiao had already inquired about it. In the Dragon Clan, the strongest was only a half-step Empyrean. Chapter 550. The Black Dragon King was a half-step Heavenly Venerable who had accumulated 10% of his strength, so he was weaker than by Fei and couldn't compare to the five-faced monster. Lathe Rest were mostly cultivators below the Transcendent Realm 9th layer. Of course, only the Dragon Kings were in the Transcendent Realm 9th layer, while the rest were below the 8th layer. To be honest, for the current Ling Xiao, in his human form, cultivators below the early Transcendent Realm 9th layer were almost no threat to him. Only those above the mid-Transcendent Realm 9th layer could pose a threat to him. But even so, no one could do anything to him. Not to mention, he still had his human dragon form, ancient golden dragon form, mountain river martial spirit, and many other trump cards. Because of this, he could do whatever he wanted in the land of dragons. If he really killed the Black Dragon young master, the Black Dragon King wouldn't be able to do anything to him. How dare you be so arrogant? Although the Black Dragon young master said so, he was very afraid of Ling Xiao. If Ling Xiao could kill the Cyclops, he could definitely kill him. The reason why he was so arrogant just now was because he thought Ling Xiao would be afraid of his father, the Black Dragon King. But obviously he was disappointed again. Ling Xiao wasn't afraid at all, and he didn't even put his father, the Black Dragon King, in his eyes. This was too arrogant. Arrogant? When the Black Dragon King assassinated the old Dragon Emperor and massacred the Golden Dragon clan, he was even more arrogant than me. Ling Xiao sneered. You, don't talk nonsense. The Black Dragon young master shouted. Whether I'm talking nonsense or not, you'll know when you ask your father. Go back and tell the Black Dragon King that the Golden Dragon clan's young master is here. Does a trivial black dragon like him deserve the position of Dragon Emperor? Quickly abdicate, and you can still live. Ling Xiao didn't plan to kill the Black Dragon young master. This kind of trash could be killed whenever he wanted. The key was still the Black Dragon King. After all, that guy was a half-step Heavenly Venerable and was not easy to deal with. He made such a big fuss because he wanted to let the other dragons know about this matter. This way, those dragons who were afraid of the Black Dragon King and didn't dare to speak the truth might stand up or take the initiative to contact him. Of course, The prerequisite was that he had to kill the Black Dragon King or defeat him. Otherwise, it would be impossible. In the end, it was all about strength. The strong were respected. Whether it was outside the Moonlight Pagoda or inside the Moonlight Pagoda, it made no difference. Just you wait. The Black Dragon young master turned and ran up Sky Dragon Mountain. Before he left behind some harsh words. However, Ling Xiao just laughed it off. Wait and see with this kind of behavior. Young master will wait for you. Welcome, young master Dragon Emperor. After Ling Xiao landed on the ground, before he could say anything, all the pedestrians suddenly knelt down and shouted at him. Just as he was about to explain, Elder Lin stopped him. Young hero Ling, you also have the bloodline of the Golden Dragon tribe. Why don't you just be the young master? Long Chun is young and his strength is far from yours. Why don't you lead the dragon tribe? It will be more convincing and reassuring. Do you really think so? Ling Xiao asked calmly. Lin Bei nodded and said, This old servant dares not speak carelessly. Moreover, this old servant has his own selfish motives. Young master is young. If he offends the Black Dragon tribe, I'm afraid he will die without a burial place. Young hero Ling's strength is outstanding. I don't think you are afraid. All right, then let me pretend to be the young master Dragon Emperor for the time being. However, when Long Chun is strong, I will return it to him. Ling Xiao was not attached to the position of the Dragon Emperor. He just felt that this young master Dragon Emperor would be more beneficial to him, so he did not object. Thank you, young hero Ling. No, thank you, young master Ling. You don't have to be so polite. I will be resting for a while. Contact me when you reach the Dragon Palace. After Ling Xiao finished speaking, he got into the beast carriage. Through the battle just now, he was more proficient in the Dragon Clan's roar, the Dragon Clan's martial skill. This martial skill was very special. It belonged to the Dragon Clan's innate martial skill. It did not have a rank and was mainly used in conjunction with Dragon Extinguish. The ancient Golden Dragon's Dragon Extinguish was a fusion of the other 9 ancient Divine Dragons' Dragon Extinguish. There were a total of 12 Dragon Extinguish. In addition to the 9 ancient Divine Dragons' Dragon Extinguish, the other 3 were unique to the Dragon Emperor, which added up to 12 types. Interestingly, these 12 types of Dragon Extinguish corresponded to the 12 sacred flames. There was a rumor in the mystic world that the 12 sacred flames were originally formed from the 12 types of Dragon Extinguish over hundreds of thousands of years. The dragon roar that Ling Xiao was using now was not authentic at all. This was a dragon roar that was released with his true essence, not Dragon Extinguish. If he wanted to cultivate a more authentic dragon's roar, he would have to possess the true dragon's breath flame. He thought about it and prepared to start with the Black Dragon Clan's Deathly Dragon Extinguish. At the current stage, the Deathly Dragon Extinguish was only the Deathly Flame. Only when it was promoted to the highest level would it become the Deathly Dark Flame. However, Ling Xiao had a little Deathly Dark Flame in his body. It was easier to condense the Deathly Dragon Extinguish than other Dragon Extinguish. And the key was that he knew that the Deathly Dark Flame martial soul was in the Flame deity's hands. He must defeat this person, and that Deathly Dark Flame martial soul would be his sooner or later. In this way, his Deathly Dragon Extinguish would be strengthened the fastest. Choosing the Deathly Dragon Extinguish was simply a great thing for him to get twice the result with half the effort. Sitting cross-legged in the beast carriage, Ling Xiao took a deep breath. After a moment of communication, Ling Xiao suddenly opened his mouth. Deathly Dragon Extinguish condense. In that instant, the air in the beast carriage started to distort. The originally transparent air actually turned black in an instant. The black energy continued to distort and finally formed a black ball of light. This terrifying and overbearing energy continued to spread and quickly enveloped the entire beast carriage. Lin Bei and Long Qin, who were close to the beast carriage, couldn't help but shiver. Disperse! Dispelling the deathly dragon roar, Ling Xiao couldn't help but smile. I didn't expect it to be so easy. In future battles, I have another trump card. This time, I came to the Moonlight Pagoda to participate in the Pagoda Ascension ceremony. Next, it's time to continue strengthening this deathly dragon extinguish. He could imagine suddenly opening his mouth to release the deathly dragon roar when he was fighting with an enemy and couldn't finish the battle with both hands. At a closer distance, it would definitely be able to blast the enemy into pieces. The dragon clan's martial skills that used their mouths were really interesting. Moreover, this deathly dragon roar was a martial skill without a rank. In other words, it would continuously become stronger as Ling Xiao's strength increased. Even if he used it for a lifetime, it wouldn't be eliminated. This was definitely one of the best things he could do. Bang, bang, bang. Someone knocked on the window outside. Little brother, we've arrived at the Dragon Palace City. Should we go directly to the Black Dragon King or find a place to stay? Long Chen's voice came from outside. Let's find a place to stay. Chapter 551. Although the dragon race had declined, they didn't lose their luxuries. They didn't throw away the luxuries of the former kings. Law-declining aristocrat was still an aristocrat. In terms of luxury, this dragon palace was 100 times better than Tianfeng City. This place is not bad, but for us, I'm afraid it's a dangerous place. Ling Xiao said as he walked. The two of you have to be careful as well. The Black Dragon clan might not dare to attack you in the open, but that might not be the case behind your backs. After all, they're lunatics who even dared to assassinate the old Dragon Emperor. It is not impossible for them to kill you. Young Masterling, don't worry. We will be careful. But you angered the Black Dragon, young master. With that guy's temper, I'm afraid he won't let you off easily. Lin Bei said worriedly. I'm afraid he won't come. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, We came to Tianlong Mountain. The first thing we have to do is to make a big deal out of it. Then we will destroy the power and spirit of the Black Dragon clan step by step and let the rest of the Dragon clan see hope. I see. But the Black Dragon clan colluded with He Ling. I'm afraid He Ling will take action. Lin Bei said again. If He Ling takes action, it will confirm the fact that they colluded with He Ling. At that time, it will save us a lot of trouble. To be honest, Ling Xiao was still very afraid of He Ling, because according to Lin Bei, the black-clothed man he saw on the steel warship outside the Land of Dragons was He Ling. It was a group of terrifying creatures that did not belong to the mystic world. They were more mysterious and powerful than the true Devil Empire. The black-clothed man on the steel warship was the strongest in the Heaven Realm. If he really took action, Ling Xiao was afraid that he would have no choice but to ask the Moon Maiden for help. After all, at this stage, a Heaven Realm expert was really not someone he could provoke. The three of them walked into a restaurant and chose 2 rooms to stay in. You two just need to protect yourselves. No matter what happens in my room, don't interfere. Otherwise, it will only make things more difficult for me, understand? Ling Xiao knew very well that if he swaggered into the restaurant, someone would definitely come to find trouble with him at night. But he just had to wait. There was nothing to be afraid of. This old servant understands. Lin Bei was a very rational person. He knew very well that he could not help Ling Xiao. Instead of causing trouble, it was better to protect himself. Both parties returned to their respective rooms. At the same time in the Dragon Palace, 3 people were standing in the conference hall of Dragon Emperor. One of them was a tall man with a crown on his head and a dragon robe on his body. He was the Black Dragon King, the one who stole the throne of the Dragon Emperor. The second person was skinny. His whole body was wrapped in black clothes. His face and limbs couldn't be seen clearly. He was like a ghost. He was a member of the Black Spirit organization. The third person's appearance was 80% similar to the Black Dragon King, but his figure was slightly thinner. At this moment, his face was filled with anger, and killing intent constantly flashed in his eyes. Ayo, Tian! I heard that you met the person who killed your 2 royal uncles and General Blackwell. The Black Dragon King coldly asked. Long Outjin nodded and said, Father, this person is very powerful. The Cyclops beast was a peak class 8 beast, but he killed it so easily. I see. Do you think that guy is from the Golden Dragon clan? Black Spirit asked. Very likely. That guy has a strong aura of the Golden Dragon clan. It shouldn't be wrong. Long Outyin nodded and replied. Humph, I didn't expect that there are still 2 surviving members of the Golden Dragon clan. I was too careless. The Black Dragon King coldly snorted and suddenly looked at Long Outyin. Next, don't go out anymore. The Black Spirit organization has found a way to break the seal of the Moonlight Maiden. Although it can only break a little of the seal, it is very effective in increasing your strength. Once the seal is completely broken, even a newborn dragon will have the strength of a celestial being. Although it can only break a little, with your talent, your cultivation can at least reach the half-step Heavenly Master level. Really? Long Outyin was overjoyed. Of course, Black Spirit said in a hoarse voice. It will take some time to break the seal. I don't want any trouble in the process. Black Dragon King, the 2 guys from the Golden Dragon clan are clearly coming for you. Kill them. Don't worry. Even if you don't say it, I will still kill them. Moreover, in the current Dragon clan, not all Dragon Kings are willing to let the Golden Dragon clan kill them. At the very least, the Poison Dragon King is on the same side as me. She is also a Dragon clan expert, second only to me. The Black Dragon King sneered. Mere surviving members of the Golden Dragon clan actually want to dominate. What a joke. They are courting death. It's not that I am ruthless. The night was hazy. The lights of thousands of homes were already lit, but they still couldn't drive away the darkness. In the guest room of the restaurant, Long Chen and Lin Bei had already hidden. Ling Xiao was cultivating. Because he was worried that something would happen at night, he didn't engage in high-intensity cultivation. He just consolidated his current cultivation and martial arts. Suddenly, a black shadow flashed by outside the door. Ling Xiao didn't seem to notice it. A small hole was poked in the window paper. A pipe reached in, and then white smoke came out. Ling Xiao's body swayed and then fell on the bed. After a long time, as if confirming that Ling Xiao had fainted inside the room, the door was pushed open with a creak. Several black-clothed people walked in from outside. With their skills, it was very easy to hide from the people of the restaurant. Ha ha! So what if this brat is strong? He was still tricked by us. That's right. He actually dared to offend our young master. He is courting death. Don't underestimate the enemy. Let this old man try and see if he really fainted. One of the old men was relatively fat. This person was very cautious. He stopped the 2 people who were about to approach the bed. Then he suddenly slapped out a palm. Immediately, a black dragon head condensed and pounced toward the person on the bed. Kacha! The dragon head bit Ling Xiao and then swallowed him. Ha ha ha, success! Retreat! The old man laughed loudly. His mood was clearly extremely good. Since you came, why are you in a hurry to leave? Suddenly, a cold and mysterious voice sounded. The fat old man suddenly realized that the person beside him had fallen to the ground and vomited blood. There was a sharp blade in his chest. Not good. Retreat! The fat old man shouted and hurriedly punched out, trying to stop Ling Xiao. The power of the fist technique is not bad. Unfortunately, it's useless. 9 meridians, Qi sword, between the soul. A Qi sword pierced toward the dragon head. Suddenly, a golden light shone in the entire room. In an instant, a terrifying pressure accompanied the Qi sword pierced through the dragon head condensed by vital essence and stabbed toward the fat old man. Boom! A huge explosion rang out, and the restaurant, which covered an area of more than 10 acres, actually shook and almost collapsed. In the guest room next door, Long Chin anxiously looked at Lin Bei beside him. Lin Bei shook his head at him. Ling Zhao's strength was so strong. If he was still not a match for the newcomer, then even if the two of them went, it would be useless. Instead, they would become a burden. Many people understood this logic, but they might not be able to be rational. Chapter 552. Little bastard, you have some skills. The fat old man looked at his broken black scales, and his face was filled with rage. His hands turned into dragon claws and suddenly extended, grabbing at Ling Xiao, vowing to crush Ling Xiao into meat paste. He came to assassinate others, but was killed first. This made the fat old man lose face, and he could not explain it to the Black Dragon King. That was why he was so angry. Insignificant skill. Ling Xiao sneered, and his body suddenly accelerated, and the two dragon claws grabbed empty air. Looking at Ling Xiao again, he was already in front of the fat old man, and a 1-foot-long chi sword formed in his right hand, shining with a bright golden light. It was sharp and terrifying. How can he be so fast? The fat old man was shocked. In a hurry, he did not have time to retract his arms, and the scales on his body grew crazily, like a hedgehog wrapping his whole body. The scales were upside down, and each one was like a sharp blade. True yuan surged on them, and they were burning with black flames. If anyone attacked directly, it was tantamount to suicide. But Ling Xiao did not believe it. Kacha kacha! As Ling Xiao's chi sword pierced the scales cracked layer by layer like pottery. Finally, the chi sword pierced through the black dragon scales and directly pierced the fat old man's body. The fat old man exclaimed, and his body kept retreating. He fell out of the guest room of the restaurant and landed heavily on the ground. His body was covered in blood. He had avoided a vital point, but Ling Zhao's chi sword true essence was no joke. After wreaking havoc for a while, he would naturally still suffer heavy injuries. Puff! Puff! The other 2 black dragon martial artists who entered the guest room were killed by Ling Xiao. Their strength was far inferior to the fat old man, and in front of Ling Xiao, they had no chance of fighting back. Bang, bang, bang. 3 corpses were thrown out, and they landed right next to the fat old man. Whoosh! Ling Xiao's body flashed, and he chased after them. Since the matter was already blown out of proportion, he might as well turn it upside down. Lin Bei and Long Chin watched the battle next door through a small hole, and they were shocked. In this battle, the opponents did not even touch Ling Xiao, and 3 of them were killed, and 1 was seriously injured. The 2 of them looked at each other, and their belief in Ling Xiao as the Golden Dragon Clan's young master was strengthened. If they could not revive the Dragon Clan with the help of such an expert, then it meant that the clan's luck were really gone. Outside the restaurant was brightly lit. The night market of Dragon Palace City was still bustling. Compared to the daytime market, it was even more bustling. Compared to the night market in Tianfeng City, it was like comparing a firefly to the bright moon. The fat old man being shot down on the street naturally attracted the attention of many people. Among them was the Black Dragon Clan's patrol. The fat old man took off his veil and revealed his true face. Bastard, what are you still standing there for? Come and protect this king. He was seriously injured and knew that he was definitely not Ling Zhao's opponent. Escaping was impossible, so he might as well use the patrol to help him fight. In any case, the plan to assassinate Ling Xiao was arranged by the Black Dragon King. Ninth King, how did you end up like this? A group of guards quickly surrounded the fat old man, none of them weak, each of them having a cultivation at the 7th layer of the transcendent realm. Assassin! An assassin wants to assassinate His Highness Dragon Emperor. The fat old man shouted. As soon as he shouted, many cultivators rushed over. Someone actually dares to cause trouble in Dragon Palace City. They're really courting death. Protect Ninth King. I want to see who has such courage. The one who spoke was a guard captain, a peak 7th layer transcendent realm cultivator. Captain, it's best to be careful. The person who can injure Ninth King is definitely not someone to be underestimated. We should immediately send a distress signal to Dragon Palace. Perhaps they can stop this person. You're right. Thinking so, the guard captain felt a chill down his spine and hurriedly took out a signal flare and released it. When Ling Xiao came out, he naturally saw the signal flare, but he didn't stop it. The more people who knew about today's matter, the better. He couldn't wait for the Black Dragon King to come out of Dragon Palace. Otherwise, it would be really difficult to assassinate the Dragon Emperor. Get out of the way if you don't want to die. In midair, Ling Xiao's fists flashed with golden light, and a sort of qi condensed on each of his fists, directly piercing towards the fat old man who was surrounded by the guards. This sword seemed to directly pierce through the void. It even drew in the surrounding world energy. It was as if a huge sharp blade was stabbing towards them, causing the guards to feel as if their bodies were being cut by knives. Audacious! Where did this madman come from? How dare he assassinate Ninth King in Dragon Palace City? Are you tired of living? Stop! We can't, this brat won't stop. Let's join forces to stop him. As long as the masters of Dragon Palace come, this brat will die. Ninth King, are you still able to move? The Black Dragon King had been on the throne for over 100 years, so everyone in Dragon Palace City was basically his people. These guards were the same, regardless of whether they were right or wrong. Whoever dared to attack Ninth King was naturally an enemy of the Black Dragon clan. Naturally, they had to stop them, and they had to stop them. Otherwise, once Lord Zhou died, they would all die. Get out of the way, we'll take over. Suddenly, 4 figures flew over from the distance. All of them transcendent realm 8th layer cultivators. The masters of Dragon Palace are here. The guards all breathed a sigh of relief. If they had to face such a ferocious guy, it would have been difficult. Now that 4 transcendent realm masters had arrived, the problem was much simpler. For transcendent realm 8th layer cultivators, 2 mid-transcendent realm 8th layer, late transcendent realm. If they weren't generals, they were kings. In any case, their combined strength was no small matter. Ling Xiao had just flown out of the restaurant and hadn't condensed any powerful moves yet, but his fist and sword were actually blocked by these 4 people. However, all they managed to do was block his attack. Ling Xiao slowly landed on the ground, as if he hadn't suffered a single blow. On the other hand, the 4 Transcendent Realm 8th Layer Masters were all forced back more than a dozen steps, only stopping after they had retreated into the crowd of guards, all of them wearing ugly expressions. This little brat is terrifyingly strong. No wonder he dares act so arrogant. The 4 Transcendent Realm Masters all had the same thought in their minds. Whether this young man was a master or not, and how strong he was, once they fought, everything would be clear. Seeing helpers arrive, the fat old man was overjoyed, and after a short moment of healing, with the Dragon Clan's restorative ability and the effects of the pills he had taken, he was almost completely healed, allowing him to once again show off. The 4 of you, this little brat, tried to assassinate the Dragon Emperor, but I saw through his plot and decided to kill him to silence him. Fortunately, I reacted quickly enough. Otherwise, I'm afraid I would have suffered the same fate as these 3 brothers. The 4 Transcendent Realm Masters didn't doubt the fat old man's words, and didn't even ask why the 3 corpses lying on the ground had their faces covered and were wearing night clothes. Chapter 5:53. Who on earth was the assassin? The masters from the Dragon Palace would not ask or care about this question, because whoever dared to touch the Black Dragon tribe would die. This was the law that the Black Dragon King had told them. One of them looked coldly at Ling Xiao and said, "Thief, your strength is indeed strong, but there are many masters in the Dragon Palace. If you want to make trouble with your own strength, you are asking for trouble. It's better to obediently tie your hands and kneel down to beg for mercy. That's right. If you surrender, I might spare your pathetic life. If you don't obey, we will destroy your cultivation, cut off all the tendons in your hands and feet, and throw you into the nest of the Cyclops to feed. Hey, little guy, our dragon tribe has always been fair. Make a choice quickly. Do you want to destroy your own martial arts or wait for us to do it? Those 4 people spoke one after another, completely treating Ling Xiao as if he was nothing. Yes, Ling Xiao was indeed strong, but not strong enough to defy nature, so the 4 of them were naturally not afraid. 1-on-1 was not enough? 4 against 1 was not enough? Then 5 against 1, 10 against 1. If the whole Dragon Palace attacked, would this guy still have a way to survive? They relied on the forces behind them, not their own strength. Are you done talking nonsense? If not, I can give you some time. If not, call your Black Dragon King to chat with us. Anyway, you'll die today. If you don't talk today, there will be no chance in the future. Ling Xiao's expression was indifferent, as if he did not hear the words of the 4 people at all. His voice was cold. If there was an expert in the celestial realm in the Dragon Palace, he would not dare to act recklessly. After killing these guys, he would simply slip away. However, a half-step heavenly master who had accumulated 10% of his strength wanted to keep him here? It was completely impossible. In his eyes, those who dared to make a move against him were already dead. The fat elder sneered and said, "Death is at hand, and you still dare to speak without thinking. I have seen arrogant people like you before, but in the end you were still killed by us, kneeling in front of us and begging for mercy." "Oh, is that so? Then I'll make you kneel first." A playful smile appeared on Ling Xiao's face. Then his true yuan gushed out crazily as he directly entered the human dragon form. The death dragon's extinguishment condensed in his mouth, and a black ball of light instantly took shape. Rumble! With the black sphere as the center, the surrounding air was actually distorted and deformed, forming a huge spiral shape that directly affected the surrounding environment. The ground began to crack, rolling up like noodles. The buildings began to collapse, and they were also easily broken like noodles. Countless onlookers were frightened by this terrifying scene and fled into the distance. They did not dare to look at such a lively scene, or they might lose their lives. For a moment, the streets were filled with shouts, roars, curses, and the sounds of people using lightness skills. Black Dragon Roar, Dragon Strike, Coiling Dragon Trap, Death Dragon Claw, Black Dragon spreads its wings. 5 people, 5 unique skills. 5 huge black dragons appeared on the streets at the same time. Fortunately, the Dragon Palace City was built according to the body of the Dragon Clan, so the streets were very wide. Otherwise, it would not be able to accommodate them. Facing Ling Xiao's attack, the 4 experts and the fat old man did not dare to be careless. They desperately displayed their best skills and attacked Ling Xiao at the same time. Death Dragon's extinguishment, Dragon's Roar. The black sphere in Ling Xiao's mouth turned into a black light and shot toward the 5 people, completely enveloping them. Rumble. The ground was trembling. The collapse of the buildings was even more severe. The huge bluestone slabs on the ground were directly turned into dust. Terrifying true yuan sputtered in all directions, covering a radius of tens of meters. It was simply terrifying. Damn, luckily we escaped quickly, or else we would have been implicated. What kind of scene is this? It's too shocking. Where did that young man come from? How can he be so powerful and know the dragon's roar? I heard that he's a survivor of the Golden Dragon Clan. Oh my God, could it be that he's back for revenge? It's possible. Didn't the rumors say that the Black Dragon King assassinated the old Dragon Emperor, stole the throne of the Golden Dragon Clan, and almost exterminated the Golden Dragon Clan? I didn't expect that they were still alive, and now they're back for revenge. CK, it turns out that the villain is complaining first. That ninth one yet is too shameless. Shoo, lower your voice. Do you want to die? Let's wait and see. If the Black Dragon King is really about to die, it won't be too late for us to uphold justice. Let's take it easy now. Don't lose your life before upholding justice. Ling Xiao entered his human dragon form, which made many warriors guess his identity. Judging from their discussion, Ling Xiao's plan was a success. Next, as long as he could defeat the Black Dragon King, the situation would be completely reversed. Although this group of people was easily swayed, one could not expect them to die for the Golden Dragon clan that they did not know, right? That was not realistic. Only when you display great strength will you be able to make others submit to you. Pum. Of the 5 people fighting Ling Xiao, 2 were directly reduced to blood mist under the death roar and killed on the spot. Another was seriously injured and was struggling on the verge of death. Only the fat old man and the other man were only slightly injured. These 2 were quite cunning and had used the patrol guards as shields at the critical moment. Otherwise, they would have also been seriously injured. Ling Xiao, who had entered his human dragon form, was extremely powerful. Even if he faced a 9th layer Transcendent Realm cultivator, he did not fear him. Not to mention these 5 people were only 8th layer Transcendent Realm cultivators. Not even worth mentioning. Everyone, don't panic. Fight and retreat. The Poison Dragon King will be here soon. As long as she arrives, she can easily crush this little bastard. The fat old man had already retreated far away, so his words were not very convincing. However, now that things had reached this point, the others had no other choice but to fight and retreat with him while waiting for the Poison Dragon King to arrive. They also believed in the strength of the Poison Dragon King. It was a master second only to the Black Dragon King, far more terrifying than the other 7 Dragon Kings. 2 have already died. You can't let them die alone on the road. Now, I'll have you all accompany them in death. Ling Xiao did not know what the Poison Dragon King was, nor did he care about it. After all, the Black Dragon King was only a half-step heavenly venerable with 10% of his strength, so the Poison Dragon King could not possibly be a half-step heavenly venerable. At most, it would be a 9th layer Transcendent Realm cultivator. There was a need to pay attention here. The 7th layer Transcendent Realm was Brave, God, Early, Mid, Late, Peak, and Invincible. The 8th layer Transcendent Realm was Divine, Transformation, Early, Mid, Late, Peak, Invincible, and Peerless. The 9th layer Transcendent Realm was Divine, Transformation, Early, Mid, Late, Peak, Invincible, Peerless, and Divine. Chapter 554. Ling Xiao was now an early Transcendent Realm 7th layer cultivator, so he could easily defeat late Transcendent Realm 8th layer cultivators and even peak Transcendent Realm cultivators. However, facing an 8th layer Transcendent Realm cultivator would be somewhat difficult, but he could still defeat them. However, facing an early Transcendent Realm 9th layer cultivator, the difficulty would be even greater, definitely not as easy as before. One had to know that before reaching the Transcendent Realm 6th layer, Ling Xiao could basically challenge cultivators 2 great realms higher than him. Moreover, it was very easy for him. But now things were not so easy. Of course, this was only his human form. In his human dragon form and ancient golden dragon form, he would become even stronger. In his human dragon form, his overall strength would increase by 50% to 100%. Depending on his state and what kind of martial skill he used. Using human martial skills would increase his strength less, while using dragon race martial skills would increase his strength more. In his ancient golden dragon form, his speed would be reduced by 50%, but his other aspects would increase by more than 2 times. This increase in strength was much greater than before, mainly because the ancient golden dragon cells in his body had awakened and the heavenly dragon bloodline in his body had fused more and more. However, Yang Kai estimated that this was not his limit. When the scales of the primordial golden dragon completely lit up, Ling Xiao was absolutely certain that he would possess the terrifying power of the primordial golden dragon that could destroy the world. Even changing the world principles of the sealed world would be easy. That would be true strength in the truest sense. Of course, that was all for later. Right now, he needed to send the fat old man and the others to see the king of hell. First one. Ling Xiao's figure flickered as his target was the guard captain of the patrol team. This guy actually tried to sneak attack him while the 5 old fogies were busy dealing with him. This kind of person was the most intolerable. Everyone block him. Don't let him come over. The guard captain was now panicking. The momentum he had just used to sneak attack Ling Xiao had completely disappeared, and he quickly turned around to flee. Ling Xiao coldly snorted as his figure flickered, seemingly disappearing in an instant and reappearing in the next, easily arriving behind the guard captain. No, you can't kill me. I am the guard captain of Dragon Palace City. If you dare kill me, you'll definitely die. Feeling the terrifying chill behind him, the guard captain desperately roared, trying to use the Black Dragon King's power to suppress Ling Xiao. Gotcha! However, Ling Xiao didn't even frown. The chi sword slid past his opponent's throat, directly cutting off his head. Second one. Ling Xiao looked at the seriously injured expert of Dragon Palace. It doesn't feel good to be abandoned by your own people, does it? It doesn't feel good to endure pain, does it? I'll give you a quick death. No, don't kill me. You devil. Do you want to challenge the entire dragon race? You can't kill me, you can't. I curse you to die a horrible death. Ling Xiao laughed disdainfully. A chi sword shot out, and that person's body immediately exploded. Curse me to die a horrible death? Then I'll let you die without a complete corpse. Challenge the entire dragon clan? You're not worthy. Back then, when you followed the Black Dragon King and killed your own kind, did you ever think that today would come? Ling Xiao sneered, his voice loud. His words were meant for the audience to hear. Sure enough, he's here to avenge the Golden Dragon clan. It seems that the rumors are true. Nonsense, of course it's true. Otherwise, why would this person risk his life to break into Dragon Palace? There must be a blood feud. Next, the third one. What did you just say? You want me to bind my hands? You want me to kneel and beg for mercy? Then I'll cut off your legs. At the same time, Ling Xiao had already arrived in front of this person. The chi sword in his hand trembled, and directly cut off this person's legs like lightning. Ah, devil, the Black Dragon King won't let you go. He won't let you go. The Black Dragon King? He killed the old Dragon Emperor. Damn it, I'll find you in the underground soon. Don't worry. Puff, the Black Dragon Clan warrior, whose legs had been cut off, finally had his throat pierced by Ling Xiao's sword. His eyes gradually lost their light. Ling Xiao originally wanted to let this person kneel for a while longer, but he felt that there were experts in the distance who were speeding up. To avoid any trouble, it was better to solve this quickly. You're the only one left, Ninth King. Ling Xiao licked his lips, showing a cold grin. Today's matter was all because of this Ninth King, so this person must die. What an overbearing and ruthless young man. Killing people like they're cutting grass, decisive and not hesitant at all. If you had a blood feud with him, I'm afraid you would do the same. Not to mention, we're not children anymore. In this kind of battle, it's always either you die or I live, there's nothing to say. That's true, but this young man is really strong. A late-stage, transcendent 8th layer cultivator couldn't even resist a single blow from him. So strong at such a young age, if he lives, his future will be limitless. Unfortunately, he won't be able to escape death. And even if the Black Dragon King doesn't take action, the Poison Dragon King can easily kill him. The Poison Dragon King is an invincible 9th layer transcendent realm master. None of the onlookers were optimistic about Ling Xiao's chances, but they still felt some sympathy for Ling Xiao. Invincible 9th layer. Ling Xiao couldn't help showing a sneer. So this is the strength of the Poison Dragon King. It seems it's mediocre. If it had been a 9th layer Transcendent or 9th layer Soul Conduit, it might have been a bit more difficult to deal with. But if it was just a 9th layer Transcendent Realm Master, Yang Kai could still fight in his dragon form. If he really couldn't, he would simply transform into his ancient golden dragon form. In any case, everyone here was from the dragon race, so they wouldn't make a fuss. The fat old man fled in a panic. Seeing the masters on his side die, he no longer had the heart to fight. But how could Ling Xiao allow him to escape? From the moment you tried to assassinate me tonight, you were doomed to die. Ling Xiao sighed softly, his figure flickering as he arrived near the fat old man. Dragon scale transformation. When the fat old man saw that Ling Xiao had caught up to him, under the threat of death, he erupted with all the true essence in his body, unleashing his strength to the extreme. Once again, he transformed into a huge black dragon. Dozens of scales flew out from his body, and they grew bigger and bigger. They formed a tight protective layer around his body in a radius of 4 to 5 meters. Each scale was like a glowing enchantment. It looked very sturdy. However, if it was just that, he still couldn't be at ease, so he used his only defensive treasure. In that instant, behind the dragon scale barrier, another layer of golden light appeared, completely enveloping him. If he combined it with the powerful defensive power of his black dragon body, he believed that even if he wasn't a match for Ling Xiao, he would at least be able to wait until the Poison Dragon King arrived. Crack! However, a sword easily shattered his beautiful dream. The dragon scale barrier quickly froze under Ling Xiao's ice dragon sword, and then shattered inch by inch, disintegrating with a loud bang. Pow! Immediately after, the ball of light couldn't withstand Ling Xiao's cold sword light and also shattered in an instant. Chapter 555. All the defenses that fat old man had set up with all his might were useless in front of Ling Xiao's attack. That sword was too sharp. There was nothing it could not break. Brat, stop. You dare to kill a member of my dragon clan? I will definitely tear you into pieces. Right at this moment, an old female voice came from not far away. This voice was filled with incomparable viciousness and killing intent, as well as a hint of arrogance. The Poison Dragon King really came. What a pity for that kid. The people watching the battle from afar all shook their heads and broke out in a cold sweat for Ling Xiao. Grandpa Lin, what should we do? Long Chin looked at Lin Bei anxiously and asked, Let's wait and see. If we really can't do it, we'll just go all out. As long as young Hero Ling doesn't die, we'll have a chance to take revenge. However, young master, don't make a move. This old servant will risk his life to save young Hero Ling. Lin Bei made his decision. However, amidst countless people's cries of alarm, worry, or sneers, Ling Xiao acted as if he did not hear certain someone's threat at all, and the sword in his hand still pierced out fearlessly. Pucci, the fat old man's defensive treasure, was a treasure. Logically speaking, the ice dragon sword, which was also a treasure, should be unable to pierce through it. However, this was only under the circumstances where both sides were of equal strength. After all, a martial tool was just a martial tool. A person with extraordinary strength, even if it was a flying leaf, could easily kill someone. The strength of the true essence that Ling Xiao instantly exploded out far surpassed the fat old man's. Therefore, this sword strike was as easy as piercing into tofu. Flying snow. Countless snowflakes danced in the air. Fat old man's body seemed to have been sliced into pieces, inch by inch, and in the end, only a pile of meat dregs remained. When the Poison Dragon King arrived, what he saw was this shocking scene. It was impossible to tell his age. However, it should be a female Draconis. Her dragon scales were extremely beautiful. Every single dragon scale emitted an incomparably beautiful color, forming a body that looked like a luxurious garment. However, those who had seen a poisonous snake before would know that the more beautiful a poisonous snake was, the more terrifying it was. Just the dragon scales alone were enough to make people feel extremely uncomfortable just by looking at them. Brat, you dare not listen to this king. No one can save you today. The poison dragon king did not look old, but his voice was very old and hoarse. He was probably not young. You are the poison dragon king? The black dragon king sent you here to die, so you obediently came. What an idiot! Facing the poison dragon king, Ling Xiao revealed a pitiful sneer, then lightly shook off the blood on the ice dragon's sword and said indifferently, "What an arrogant thief!" But you won't be so arrogant after this. The poison dragon king had already entered his poison dragon form. The poison dragon's body wasn't as huge as the black dragon's. It was more like a huge poisonous snake. But if one looked carefully, it did have the characteristics of a divine dragon. Wisps of black smoke were emitted from the beautiful scales on its body. Her eyes emitted a sinister red light. On her forehead, there was a crystal that looked like an emerald, as if it had been there since birth. It was very dangerous. Ling Xiao could feel that this poison dragon king's strength far surpassed any dragon he had encountered before. The aura of the ancient dragon race spread out from his body, causing people to tremble. However, a moment later, the primordial golden dragon in his body opened his eyes, and a vast aura of an emperor spread out, filling his entire body. The dignity of an emperor was not to be provoked. Even though the awakened primordial golden dragon was extremely weak, it still did not allow other dragons to dare provoke him. Brat, this king will give you a chance to live on account of your outstanding talent. Now, cripple your cultivation, break your own tendons, and obediently follow me back to beg for forgiveness. Perhaps you can leave your dog life behind. Otherwise, this king will let you taste the most painful punishment in the world, the feeling of living a life worse than death. The poison dragon king seemed to have also sensed the emperor's aura in Ling Xiao's body, so he did not immediately make a move. Instead, he spoke to Ling Xiao in an extremely arrogant tone. Just now, someone said that he was going to cripple my cultivation and make me kneel. But unfortunately, the one who knelt in the end was him, and he's already dead. Ling Xiao looked at the poison dragon king indifferently. The other party's dragon might was already meaningless to him. The strength of the dragon might in his body was even more terrifying than the other party's. If they were to truly clash, the one who would suffer would absolutely not be him. Stubborn. The poison dragon king's eyes revealed a crazy killing intent. Brat, you've already angered this king. Next, not only will you die, but you will also die very miserably. As an expert in the dragon race whose strength was second only to the Black Dragon King, the Poison Dragon King was considered the Black Dragon King's most loyal lackey. Of course, it did not rule out that this Poison Dragon King and the Black Dragon King had that kind of relationship. There were also rumors about this in the Dragon Palace, but no one knew whether it was true or false. This Dragon King could be said to be above tens of thousands of people below one person. No one had ever dared to disobey her. But today, a mere descendant of the Golden Dragon race actually dared to speak to her like this, which made her furious. She could choose not to avenge the dead dragons. She could also choose not to care that Ling Xiao was a member of the Golden Dragon race. But she could not ignore that someone dared to disobey her. This was the key to her wanting to kill Ling Xiao. Whoosh, a gale suddenly appeared. The Poison Dragon King's huge body was actually so agile. In an instant, it had already arrived in front of Ling Xiao. Then its claws, which contained highly toxic poison, fiercely slapped towards Ling Xiao. This speed is probably faster than my Cloud Dragon Divine Travel, but it's not as good as my Golden Light Dragon Wings. Ling Xiao had long been used to fighting at an extremely fast speed. Therefore, when the Poison Dragon King moved, he was already prepared. A sword appeared in his hand. It was the Thunder Shadow Sword. rumbling, thunder flash. The moves that he used were naturally not as fast as the moves that came with the weapon. Now that it was a fight of speed, Ling Xiao naturally had to use a faster speed. Boom! The sword light collided with a huge dragon claw, but it was actually unable to pierce through. On the huge dragon claw, there was a strange, multicolored true essence that continuously spewed out. It was as if it had transformed into dozens of poisonous dragons that continuously tore apart Ling Xiao's sword qi. Then it pounced towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's pupils suddenly constricted, and then his body suddenly retreated. He could feel that not only was the Poison Dragon King's cultivation powerful, but his combat experience and methods were also much more brilliant than the fellows he had encountered before. If he did not retreat from that attack, just now his life would be in danger. Humph, your mouth is not bad, but your strength is only so-so. Go to hell now. The Poison Dragon King's original worry disappeared after forcing Ling Xiao to retreat repeatedly with a single claw. In her opinion, Ling Xiao was just SOO. The Emperor's aura that she had sensed earlier should have been an illusion. As a result, the huge claw pounced once again. This time, the power was even more ferocious than before. It simply caused the earth to shake and the mountains to shake. Thunder, celestial phenomenon, rumbling, thunder flash. Ling Xiao's expression was still indifferent. The move that he used this time was exactly the same as before. However, it fused with the thunder celestial phenomenon. For a time, thunder rumbled. It was as if there was a huge rumbling sound between heaven and earth. Chapter 556. It was the same sword, but the power could not be mentioned in the same breath. As if carrying the wrath of the thunder god, this sword directly slammed onto that enormous dragon claw. Boom! The vital essence on the dragon claw shattered and collapsed. Ling Xiao's sword energy actually still had remnants, leaving a very shallow scratch on the Poison Dragon King's dragon claw. Your vital essence is rather strange. I didn't expect that there was actually such a peculiar internal force cultivation method in this world. I was careless. The Poison Dragon King's brows were tightly knitted. She originally thought that the battle could be resolved in an instant, but she did not expect that an unforeseen event would occur again. However, if it was only like this, she still had nothing to be afraid of. The conditions can be changed. If you're willing to hand over this internal force cultivation method, I might spare your life. Otherwise, even if you're blessed with heavenly talent, you'll definitely die today. Don't you think that it's too much of a pity? Although the Poison Dragon King was a dragon man, she could enter human form and naturally could use human martial arts. Greed arose in her, and she urgently wanted to obtain Ling Xiao's martial arts. Sorry, not interested. Looks like you really want to die. The Poison Dragon King no longer held any illusions. This brat in front of her was simply a fellow who was impervious to oil and salt. Looks like she could only use force. Thinking up to here, she suddenly opened her enormous mouth, and a ball of multicolored light condensed in her mouth. Poison dragons roar. Amidst the roar, a multicolored light shot out from her enormous mouth, instantly spreading across the entire street. In an instant, the entire street fell apart because of this. Poisonous gas even emitted from the damaged traces, looking simply like the scene of the end of the world. Death Dragon's extinction, dragons roar. Ling Xiao roared angrily, and the dragon's roar was also released at the same time. The same power was ample, and the same scene was shocking. Boom! The roars of the two dragons met in the middle of the street and then exploded. They were actually evenly matched in their battle. Die for me! Perhaps she had long expected this. The Poison Dragon King's attack did not stop. After the dragon's roar was released, this fellow actually took the opportunity to pounce over. The moment the power collapsed, her huge claws once again appeared in front of Ling Xiao. This Poison Dragon King is truly worthy of being an invincible 9th layer Transcendent Realm cultivator. Coupled with his dragon race body, he is likely much stronger than a human of the same strength. Ling Xiao mused, but his hands didn't stop moving. He stabbed out with his sword, using the Thunder Constellation in combination with the Thunderous Flash. Since this move could break the old man's dragon claw art, then there was no harm in using it a few more times. The only thing he was worried about now was whether this old man had any other tricks up his sleeve. Therefore, he didn't use any moves that were too powerful. After all, he had to keep some trump cards. This sword thrust was actually unable to completely eliminate the opponent's claw power. It seemed like the Poison Dragon King's attacks were getting stronger and stronger. This old man had actually concealed his strength from the start. Sure enough, he was not easy to deal with. The Poison Dragon King's claws kept striking out. In the eyes of the distant onlookers, it was like a giant beast pouncing on a mouse. The scene was a little comical, but the destructive power it brought made everyone unable to laugh. This kind of confrontation was too terrifying. Fortunately, Dragon Palace City was built to be relatively spacious. Otherwise, it would probably be in ruins by now. Dual wield. A sword suddenly appeared in Ling Xiao's left hand. It was the Raging Wind Sword. Thunder Constellation. Thunderous Flash. Wind Constellation. Raging Wind Shuttle. Death Dragon Extinction. Dragon Roar. Ling Xiao launched 3 moves at the same time, attacking the Poison Dragon King's 3 vital points. It had been a long time since someone forced him to use this dual-wield special skill. He didn't expect to use it again today. Pum! The Thunderous Flash was directly blocked by the Poison Dragon King's claws. Boom! The Dragon Roar was blocked by the Poison Dragon King with the same Dragon Roar. Chi! However, the terrifying lethality of the Raging Wind shuttle still pierced into the Poison Dragon King's dragon scales. However, it was only for an instant. The terrifying sword Chi was directly reflected by the Poison Dragon King, flying past Ling Xiao's ear and hitting the building behind him, leaving a very smooth cut. The Poison Dragon King sneered disdainfully, "Struggle. All your struggles are futile. In front of this king, you, a trivial 7th-layer Transcendent Realm cultivator, is not enough to look at." "Is that so?" "I don't think so." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. The other party didn't seem to notice that he hadn't summoned his martial spirit yet. Could it be that the dragon race didn't know about the existence of martial spirits? It seemed normal. After all, martial spirits were created by humans to fight against powerful ancient beasts. It was normal that they didn't understand. Boom! Terrifying True Chi rose rapidly, and the phantom of the plague Demon King martial spirit appeared behind Ling Xiao. In the outside world, Ling Xiao was unwilling to use this martial spirit easily, mainly because he was worried about causing unnecessary trouble. But here, he didn't have such scruples. Martial spirit? How can the dragon race have martial spirits? Is this bred a human? Idiot, the dragon race already has a human form, so it's not strange for them to have martial spirits. How could the rich golden dragon aura on his body be fake? That's true, but what kind of martial spirit is this? It feels so terrifying. Seeing Ling Xiao summon his martial spirit, the onlookers were all shocked. The Poison Dragon King on the other side was also clearly stunned. "Now, try the power of my sword technique." Ling Xiao withdrew his Thunder Shadow Sword and Furious Wind Sword and summoned his Ice Dragon Sword. Flying Snow. As the plague Demon King martial spirit's body emitted a strange light, Ling Xiao's sword light actually had a strange dark green tinge to it. The sword light was too fast. In an instant, it arrived in front of the Poison Dragon King. The Poison Dragon King responded indifferently. Although she could no longer block this sword because she was caught off guard, the attack was extremely fast. However, Pucci, this time, the flying snow actually pierced into the Poison Dragon King's huge body without any hindrance, causing a burst of crimson dragon blood to spurt out. Fortunately, the poison dragon king had dodged at the last moment and avoided being hit in her vitals. Otherwise, this sword would have seriously injured her. She might even die a miserable death. What? The poison dragon king looked at his bleeding wound in shock, unable to believe that this was actually true. He had actually been injured by a 7th layer transcendent realm cultivator. It's a pity that I wasn't able to kill you. Otherwise, you would have suffered less. Ling Xiao revealed a helpless expression as he stood there, as if lamenting the fact that his sword was not as effective as it seemed. Forget it against an expert of your level. It's normal that I can't kill you with a single sword strike, but the more it's like this, the more painful it will be for you. Little thief, don't get carried away. Just now, this king was just careless. This time, how can I allow you to hurt this king? The poison dragon king was furious, and a terrifying dragon pressure spread throughout the entire street, causing countless creatures to tremble in fear. The seemingly invisible and colorless dragon pressure had become the poison dragon king's most terrifying trump card at this time. However, Ling Xiao stood there as if he didn't feel anything. Chapter 557. Facing the Poison Dragon King's Dragon Might. Ling Xiao seemed to not feel anything at all. It was as if he was looking at a rabbit baring its fangs and brandishing its claws in front of a tiger. It was actually somewhat laughable. Use your trump card. Otherwise, you will definitely die with this sword strike. Ling Xiao really wanted to steal something from the Poison Dragon King. But other than having a lot of experience and strength, the Dragon Clan's martial skills were also very poor, causing people to sigh. He gripped the ice dragon's sword tightly, and an ice-cold aura that covered the sky and covered the earth began to spread. Within this ice-cold aura, there were actually traces of dragon might, causing the Poison Dragon King to involuntarily tremble. Wind celestial phenomenon, ice and snowstorm. Ling Xiao stood there, his extremely strong true essence surging out from the ice dragon sword, forming a huge tornado that grew bigger and bigger. Within the tornado, snowflakes danced in the air. It was bone-chilling cold. Poison feather robe. Finally, the Poison Dragon King sensed the threat of Ling Xiao's sword strike that was enough to kill her. She used her own creation, Poison Feather Robe. It could be used to defend and attack. The crazy 5-colored true essence actually turned into a huge piece of clothing that draped over her body. The barrier formed by the poison was 4 to 5 meters thick. Ling Xiao's ice and snowstorm and the Poison Feather Robe were entangled for a full 3 to 4 minutes before the outcome was decided. The originally sure kill attack had been slowed down and its power had been weakened. When it landed on the Poison Dragon King's body, blood splattered everywhere. It caused the Poison Dragon King to turn into a blood dragon. However, he was unable to kill it. You are indeed very obedient. However, it's a pity that I don't care about this move of yours. There's no point in learning it. Ling Xiao was completely disappointed. He decided to kill the Poison Dragon King. So. The ice dragon's sword in his hand continuously attacked. Bang, bang, bang. The Poison Dragon King's dragon claws continued to wave to block, and on top of the shroud, his flesh and scales continued to fall, his injuries becoming more and more serious. Poison Dragon King, you just said that you wanted me to cripple your cultivation, right? How about now? Do you feel very aggrieved? As Ling Xiao attacked, he continued to break down the Poison Dragon King's mentality. Your strength is passable. At the very least, you are much more powerful than many human warriors in the same realm. However, it's useless. I only summoned 1 martial spirit, and you are already at your limit. If it were 2 or 3 martial spirits, you would only be killed in seconds. Bastard! How dare you look down on this prince? The Poison Dragon King was furious. She, who was high and mighty, had never been humiliated like this before. She couldn't take it anymore. Her anger had reached its limit. Dragon balls! The poison dragon king suddenly opened his mouth and spat out a colorful ball. Unlike the energy sphere of Dragon's Roar, this sphere looked real. The dragon pearl, which was the dragon clan's Niden, could also be called the dragon core. Basically, when the great wasteland beasts reached the end of the fight, they would spit out dragon balls as a final counterattack if they knew that they were no match for their opponent. The dragon pearl was the core power of the dragon clan. It was extremely powerful, but when used to attack enemies once damaged, it would cause permanent damage. In the best-case scenario, his cultivation would plummet. In the worst-case scenario, his cultivation would no longer be able to progress and his body would suffer all kinds of injuries. Therefore, no Dragon Clan member would do this until the last moment. Now, the Poison Dragon King was obviously forced into a corner by Ling Xiao. Kill! The Poison Dragon King took a deep breath and roared in his loudest voice. Her body glowed with a colorful light, and at the same time, her face obviously aged a lot. As for the red crystal on his forehead, it directly shattered and turned into energy that merged into the Dragon Ball. The Dragon Pearl released a dazzling light and blasted towards Ling Xiao at lightning speed. Shadow Clone. Ling Xiao saw that the situation was not good and hurriedly sent out 13 Sword Soul Clones. While the Dragon Pearl was flying, a huge hole appeared in the ground, and it collided with the first Sword Soul Clone. The Sword Soul Clone had about 70% of Ling Xiao's strength and could be considered a transcendent realm master. But in front of this Dragon Pearl, it was so weak that it couldn't even withstand a single blow. It exploded in an instant. Ling Xiao couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Fortunately, he dodged. Otherwise, if the Dragon Pearl hit him, even if he didn't explode into a bloody mist, he would definitely be smashed into pieces. Boom! With another bang, another Sword Soul Doppelganger was destroyed. Then the third, the fourth, the fifth. The Sword Soul Clones exploded one after another. It wasn't until the 13th Sword Soul Clone was shattered that the power of the Dragon Pearl weakened a lot. Ling Xiao saw the opportunity and revealed a greedy look. He opened his mouth and swallowed the Dragon Pearl directly into his stomach, and then sent it into the Mountain River world. Even though the Poison Dragon King's Dragon Pearl was very powerful, it still couldn't cause any trouble after entering the Mountain River world. After taking the Poison Dragon King's Dragon Pearl, the Poison Dragon King was half dead. Ling Xiao originally planned to kill it. However, at this moment, he felt a powerful aura coming from afar. Black Dragon King? No, there were two people. Ling Xiao felt that something was wrong and instantly spread his golden dragon wings, bringing Long Chen and Lin Bei into the distance. The Black Dragon King was a half-step heavenly venerable with 10% of his strength, and the other black-robed man was probably an expert of the Black Spirit organization. His strength was actually on par with the Black Dragon King. Ling Xiao had a 20 to 30% chance of dealing with one of them, but against two, even he couldn't win. Therefore, it was wise to leave temporarily. So fast, why did he escape? The onlookers were confused. A moment later, the two figures landed on the ground. Only then did they understand why Ling Xiao escaped. It's actually the Black Dragon King and the Imperial Preceptor. No wonder that Golden Dragon Youth escaped. So he had already sensed the danger. The Black Dragon King is 10 times stronger than the Poison Dragon King, not to mention the Imperial Preceptor accompanying him. However, this child can be proud. He actually survived the attack of the Poison Dragon King's Dragon Pearl and even snatched it away. The Poison Dragon King can be considered crippled. That Dragon Pearl needs over 1,000 years to cultivate into an embryonic form and 10,000 years to have the ability to attack. The Poison Dragon King has lived for over 10,000 years, but he fell in the hands of a youth. Yeah, he's strong and his ability to escape is even stronger. He actually has the ability to sense danger. I'm afraid it won't be easy for the Black Dragon King to kill him. Bang! The Black Dragon King landed on the ground, and a crack appeared on the ground. His human dragon form was actually very tall and mighty, simply like a small giant. Poison Dragon King, what's going on? How did you become like this? The Black Dragon King asked with a gloomy face. He originally thought that with the Poison Dragon King taking action, he could easily kill Ling Xiao, Long Chen, and Lin Bei. But he hadn't expected that in the Dragon Palace, he would suddenly feel the Poison Dragon King's aura become extremely weak. So he hurriedly rushed over. However, he found that the scene was a mess. The 4 masters of the Dragon Palace, including his 9th brother, had all been killed. The Poison Dragon King was also half dead. Even his dragon pearl had been snatched away. Hateful! That little brat actually has the Dragon Emperor's dragon pressure. I can't suppress him. Black Dragon King, you must help me take back my dragon pearl. Otherwise, I'll be crippled. The Poison Dragon King gnashed his teeth in anger. Rest assured, I will. The Black Dragon King still needed the Poison Dragon King as his henchman, so he naturally wouldn't abandon him so easily. He wanted to see if a trivial 7th layer transcendent realm cultivator could overturn the heavens. Chapter 558. Deep in the forest between mountains and rivers, there was a hidden valley. After settling Lin Bei and Long Chen down, Ling Xiao began to cultivate here. He could feel that his current strength was not enough to defeat the Black Dragon King and the Imperial Tutor, so he had to become stronger. At present, there were 3 ways to improve his strength. First, he needed to improve his cultivation. After several days of fighting, his early Transcendent Realm 7th layer cultivation had completely stabilized, so there wouldn't be any harm in trying to break through. It seemed he could now consume the Fire Spirit Fruit and Water Spirit Fruit. Second, refine the Poison Dragon Pearl and make it his own magic weapon. This shouldn't be a problem, but he needed to use the ancient Golden Dragon to tame the Dragon Pearl first, which would take some time. Third, improve the level of the Mountain and River Martial Spirit. Although Ling Xiao had several martial spirits, his core martial spirit was the Mountain and River Martial Spirit. This had never changed. The other martial spirits could only be used for fighting, but they could not improve his overall strength. The Mountain and River Martial Spirit was different. When the level of the Mountain and River Martial Spirit increased, the 9 abilities would also increase, including his overall strength. This was closely related to him. He didn't know if he had enough time. Although this place was hidden, it was still in the land of dragons. The Black Dragon King had been the Dragon Emperor for so many years, it was only a matter of time before he found this place. Let's do it one by one. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao ate the Fire Spirit Fruit and Water Spirit Fruit he had obtained before. Others needed to eat one by one, but his body's absorption ability was too strong, so there was no need for that. He could still digest them all. Not far away, Long Chen and Lin Bei were also cultivating, but they were just cultivating in passing. More importantly, they were protecting Ling Xiao. The 2 of them could see that if the Golden Dragon Clan wanted to regain the imperial power, or even if the entire Dragon Clan wanted to rise again, they absolutely couldn't do without Ling Xiao's help. As long as Ling Xiao was well, they would naturally be well. At the same time, Dragon Palace. Inside the main hall of the Dragon Palace, the Black Dragon King's dark eyes flashed with killing intent. He slammed the dragon throne and said, "Investigate! Use the power of the entire Dragon Clan. Even if we have to turn the entire land of dragons upside down, we must find this Ling Xiao." "Your Majesty, Dragon Emperor, what should we do after we find them?" "Inform me immediately. Don't act rashly, lest we alert the enemy." The Black Dragon King was still rather rational. Even the Poison Dragon King was not a match for Ling Xiao, so there was probably no one under him who could defeat Ling Xiao. That was why he ordered his subordinates to inform him as soon as possible. "Understood." Everyone left, leaving only the Black Dragon King and the Black Spirit Imperial Advisor in the hall. "Is the plan going well?" The Black Dragon King asked. "Don't worry. We have already contacted one of the inner sect elders of Yuehua School. He has already agreed to help. However, in order to prevent any unforeseen circumstances, this Ling Xiao must die. As for the other Yuehua School disciples, none of them can be spared. The Black Spirit Imperial Preceptor's eyes flashed with strong killing intent. It was still the same dense forest. It was still the same valley. From the outside, it was very difficult to discover that there were actually people here. Ling Xiao abruptly opened his eyes, and 2 beams of golden light shot out from his eyes, piercing through a nearby tree. This golden light was condensed from his true qi and was extremely powerful. Middle, 7th layer, transcendent realm. It seems that after entering the 7th layer, every small realm is extremely difficult to advance. Ling Xiao took a deep breath. After spending a full hour and consuming a large number of fire and water spirit fruits, his cultivation had only advanced by a small realm. However, the fire and water spirit fruits had brought him other benefits. They had increased his fire and water resistance by a lot. If a transcendent realm cultivator attacked him with fire or water attribute attacks, the damage would be reduced by half. If it was a heaven realm cultivator, it was unknown. However, it was estimated that it would be reduced, perhaps by 10%. After all, a heaven realm cultivator was a great realm cultivator, so the situation was completely different. The effect of the earth spirit body was basically the same as the effects of these 2 fruits. In other words, among the 5 elements, the damage caused to him by fire, water, and water attribute attacks had been greatly reduced. In addition, this was only an increase in his resistance. In terms of attack power, the power of fire, water, and water attribute attacks had also increased. Basically, as long as Ling Xiao did not break through to the heaven realm, the power of his attacks would increase by about 50%, which was equivalent to a significant increase in his attack power. After breaking through a small realm, Ling Xiao did not stop cultivating. He took out the gold spirit core Lin Bei had given him and began absorbing its energy. The fire and water spirit fruits could help him advance by a small realm, so the effect of the gold spirit core was basically the same. Another hour passed, and the gold spirit core in his hand completely disappeared. At this time, his cultivation really broke through again, reaching the late 7th layer transcendent realm. Not only that, but he had also condensed the gold spirit body, which gave him metal attribute resistance as well as an attack bonus. Metal, water, fire, earth. Currently, among the 5 elements, Yang Kai already had 4 resistances and attack bonuses. As long as he obtained a wood attribute treasure, whether it was the wood spirit fruit or the wood spirit core, he would have all 5 resistances and attack bonuses. At the same time, the people from the dragon race were conducting a thorough search for him and were currently approaching the valley. Ling Xiao judged that there was still time, so he had to proceed to the 2nd step, which was to refine the poison dragon pearl. The poison attribute was an extension of the wood attribute, so if he could refine or tame it, he would really have all 5 elements resistances and attack bonuses. Moreover, the poison dragon pearl contained the poison dragon king's life's work. If he could really refine it, his cultivation would increase, and even his mountain and river martial spirit would be enhanced. This was even the 3rd step. Thinking so, Ling Xiao was slightly excited. However, he still forced himself to calm down. Taking a deep breath, Yang Kai said to Long Chun and Lin Bei, who were responsible for guarding the valley, "I'll have to trouble the 2 of you if enemies come. Can you help hold them off for a while?" "Young Hero Ling, little brother, don't worry." Ling Xiao nodded his head and closed his eyes again, sensing the poison dragon pearl in the mountain and river world. At this moment, the poison dragon pearl had already been completely suppressed by the immemorial golden dragon's dragon might. Originally, it was still rampaging in the mountain and river world, but now it was obediently waiting there, not daring to move at all, like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Great, this is the time. Ling Xiao allowed his soul power to envelop the poison dragon pearl, and then began to refine it. The poison dragon pearl began to tremble violently, but the immemorial golden dragon's dragon might was too strong, so it still did not dare to move. An unending stream of energy and the dragon race's soul power poured into Ling Xiao's body and his mountain and river martial spirit. This feeling made him feel extremely comfortable, as if he was using a straw to suck coconut juice from a coconut. Chapter 559. It's starting. Ling Xiao was overjoyed. He could clearly feel that the true qi in his martial veins was constantly rising, gurgling like boiling water. This was clearly the precursor to a breakthrough. At the same time, the mountain and river martial spirit also underwent a strange change. Ling Xiao could feel that it was also growing. Originally, it was only an incorporeal body, but it quickly condensed into a solid body and continued to grow. As expected of the Poison Dragon King, who had lived for more than 10,000 years. Although her strength was not very good, that was because of the seal in the Moonlight Pagoda, not because she was weak. All her strength was bound to the poison dragon bead and could only slowly seep out through the small opening in the seal. If there was no seal, this Poison Dragon King's cultivation would be at least at the Yin-Yang realm, definitely not lower than the Moon Maiden. Ling Xiao thought to himself, this Moonlight Maiden was really powerful, actually sealing the dragon race just like that. However, it was impossible not to seal them. If these dragons were too strong, even the Moonlight Pagoda would not be able to trap them, which would be troublesome. Kong. Suddenly, a powerful force soared into the sky. Ling Xiao had broken through again, this time after 2 hours. Peak of the Transcendent Realm, 7th layer. Ling Xiao opened his eyes, revealing a look of ecstasy. Just refining 1% of the poison dragon bead's energy allowed my cultivation to break through to the peak of the Transcendent Realm 7th layer. More importantly, my mountain and river martial spirit has evolved to the leaving body stage. Although it can only last for a breath of time, this is simply a great improvement. Ling Xiao sensed the changes in his body, and his face was filled with joy. In addition, he also obtained a resistance to the poison attribute, but unfortunately, although the poison attribute was an extension of the wood attribute, it did not seem to be able to obtain the full effects of the wood attribute. Of course, even so, Ling Xiao was already satisfied. His Plague Demon King martial spirit basically used poison attribute attacks, so being able to increase his poison attribute attacks was not bad. Moreover, this was actually a small matter. Ling Xiao discovered a strange phenomenon. After the mountain and river martial spirit advanced to the leaving body stage, one of its abilities also changed. His martial will had become the will of mountains and rivers. After obtaining a martial soul, martial wills seemed to have become useless. However, now that it had changed and become the will of the mountains and rivers, the meaning was completely different. He could feel that the so-called mountain river will was the invisible energy that could be integrated into the mountain river world in all attacks. When the enemy fought with him, it was like fighting with nature. That kind of feeling was just too awesome. Although he could not directly use the mountain river martial soul to fight with the mountain river will, he was not far from using the mountain river martial soul. Currently, his mountain river will was only about 10%. However, this was only achieved after absorbing 1% of the poison dragon pearl's power. This will could still be improved. This kind of will of mountains and rivers was not illusory. It was condensed into a martial skill and could greatly increase Ling Xiao's battle prowess. It was extremely terrifying. If he could stimulate the will of mountains and rivers with his soul force, he could easily kill cultivators below the Transcendent Realm 6th layer. The mountain river was only one of the abilities of the mountain river martial soul, yet it was already so terrifying. Then, how could the overall upgrade of the mountain river martial soul bring nothing to Ling Xiao? He could feel that whether it was his attack, defense, soul, or aptitude, they had all undergone a qualitative change. If he encountered the Poison Dragon King again now, he could basically kill him in a single move. There was no need for him to fight for so long. More intuitively, the upgrade of the Mountain River Martial Soul had increased his overall strength by nearly 50%. Not only that, the Mountain River could also increase his attack power by nearly 50%. Adding all of these together, his attack power had doubled. What a terrifying boost this was. Although his cultivation was still at the peak of the Transcendent Realm's 7th layer, facing the Black Dragon King and Imperial Teacher Black Spirit, he was absolutely not afraid at all. Go! Suddenly, Ling Xiao's right hand shot out a sword of qi. The mountain river merged into it and gushed out, turning into a dazzling beam of light. Kacha! A frightening scene appeared. One of the cliffs that originally surrounded the valley was actually directly pierced through by the sword. The cut was smooth and bright, revealing its sharpness. It actually extended for more than 30 meters. Good. Ling Xiao was very satisfied with this attack. In the past, when his soul force was merged into his attack, it could only produce a second attack, but it couldn't increase his attack power. But now it was different. His soul force could greatly increase his attack power through the mountain river will. That was real damage. In the distance, Long Qin and Lin Bei glanced at each other, their eyes filled with horror. Ling Xiao's sword was too amazing. In the dark night, Dragon Palace was filled with killing intent. There was a huge disagreement within the Dragon Clan. Some of the dragon men who had submitted to the Black Dragon King's tyranny were discussing plans in their homes. They were waiting for the situation to clear up, because everyone knew that the descendants of the Golden Dragon Clan had returned to seek revenge from the Black Dragon King. Although they were young, they were very powerful. However, the Black Dragon King would not let these two youths go. The intensive search outside was the best example. Unless the two descendants of the Golden Dragon Clan escaped under Lin Bei's lead, a battle was inevitable. Either the Golden Dragon Clan would be completely exterminated, or the Black Dragon King would be killed. The air was filled with a tense atmosphere, making it difficult for people to breathe. Report. The Black Dragon King has found the hiding place of the Golden Dragon Clan. Such reports rose and fell one after another in Dragon Palace. Therefore, countless experts came out in full force. They wanted to witness this historic moment. Would the Golden Dragon Clan regain the throne? Or would the Black Dragon King completely eliminate the potential enemies? Tonight, the answer would be revealed. Outside Dragon City, on a spacious road, a figure suddenly appeared. The dragon wings on his back were folded. He quickly fell to the ground, but when he landed, he was as light as a feather. He didn't even startle any birds nearby. This was the only way to the valley. Ling Xiao let Long Qin and Lin Bei wait for him in the distance, while he came here to welcome the Black Dragon King and the others. The decisive battle would end tonight. He had two swords in his hands. One was the Purple Flash Sword, the other was the Overflow Rain Sword. The Overflow Rain Sword could be strengthened with the help of the water attribute. It also had a special skill that could produce a terrifying group attack effect. The Purple Flash Sword had the special skill, Purple Lightning Shocks the World. It could upgrade the Purple Flash Sword to an Immortal Grade Precious Weapon in an hour. The attack of an Immortal Grade Precious Weapon was needless to say. Long black hair, a pair of pitch-black pupils, long black robe. He was like a demon god who had walked out of hell. He stood there quietly, staring ahead. Strike first and gain the upper hand. This was Ling Xiao's battle strategy all along. Chapter 560. Ling Xiao believed that instead of waiting for the Black Dragon King and the others to kill him in the mountain valley, it would be better to prepare everything here and ambush them. Lathe effect would be better and the battle would be easier. His cultivation had just broken through to the peak of the 7th layer Transcendent Realm, and his mountains and rivers' martial spirit had just been upgraded, so what he needed now was a hearty battle to temper his cultivation. In fact, he could raise his cultivation to a higher level, but he chose not to do so. There was no benefit in raising his cultivation base. As such, he was actually suppressing his cultivation. Once this battle was over, or after he fully adapted to his cultivation base at the peak of the 7th layer transcendent realm, he would be able to fully release this strength. At that time, he would become an invincible 7th layer transcendent realm cultivator. He would truly be invincible in the same realm. On both sides of the dark road were dense jungles and lush mountain ranges. There were no signs of human habitation. Only the low roars of wild beasts could be heard in the night. It was a moonless and windy night. It was time to kill. Suddenly, Yang Kai looked into the distance and saw a blurry figure rushing over. For a long-distance raid, even the Black Dragon King would not rely on his movement skill. He would definitely have a mount. Yang Kai could see a large number of Cyclops being used as mounts as they galloped over. Most of these Cyclops were level 7 vicious beasts, with some being level 8 vicious beasts, so they were not very strong. However, they were so large that an average person would probably feel their legs go soft before they even started fighting. Ling Xiao's pupils turned golden, and even from several dozen kilometers away, he could clearly see several dozen Cyclops and several hundred Earth Dragons. These were a kind of dragon subspecies, and outside the Moonlight Treasure Pagoda, they were definitely powerful beasts. However, inside the Moonlight Treasure Pagoda, just like the Cyclops, they were affected by the seal and were generally only level 6 or level 7 vicious beasts. However, they were very fast and ran smoothly, making them very suitable mounts. Further behind, there were thousands of mounts of various colors. They didn't look like the subordinates of the Black Dragon King, but more like they were here to watch the show. That was because they were quite far away from the hundreds of people in front of them, and even the flags they hung were different. This was clearly telling Ling Xiao to treat them differently. No matter what, the Black Dragon King and his subordinates had finally arrived. Ling Xiao let out a long breath of turbid air. He didn't like to wait. Fortunately, he didn't have to wait for long this time. Stop! When they were about 1 mile away, the Black Dragon King suddenly raised his hand, indicating for the entire army to stop. However, due to inertia, they still moved forward several hundred meters before finally stopping. The Black Dragon King's soul force had already completely locked onto Ling Xiao. Among the people who had come, the Black Dragon King's cultivation was the strongest, and his perception ability was not weak. This was normal. If he didn't have this ability, how could he have killed the old Dragon Emperor and ascended to the position of Dragon Emperor? The Black Dragon King's black, gem-like dragon eyes emitted 2 ominous glints. In the darkness of the night, they looked like 2 will-o'-the-wisps. Ling Xiao could feel that the Black Dragon King's eyes were emitting a powerful dragon might that wanted to intimidate him. As expected of the Black Dragon King. As expected of a half-step Empyrean who had been tempered on the battlefield. He was much more powerful than that stupid woman by Fei Fei. You seem to have broken through? Middle Transcendent Realm 7th Layer? Ling Xiao's model was set to the Middle Transcendent Realm 7th Layer, so there was no need for the other party to know his true cultivation. This way, it would be easier for the other party to underestimate him, allowing him to carry out his plan more easily. No matter how powerful the Black Dragon King was, he still couldn't see through the mountain and river martial spirit's model ability. He couldn't see through it before, and now he couldn't see through it. After all, Ling Xiao's mountain and river martial spirit had already broken through. Yes, I heard you were chasing me, so I waited here for you. Ling Xiao chuckled. Ha ha ha, don't bluff. Do you think this emperor doesn't know? There is no ambush here. The Black Dragon King laughed. Ling Xiao said indifferently, ambush? To deal with you, is there a need for an ambush? I, Ling Xiao, alone am enough. Today, all of you will be buried here. It's that simple. The purple lightning sword and overflowing rain sword stabbed into the ground on either side of him, his eyes filled with determination and confidence. Ha ha ha! Countless wild laughs rang out from the Cyclops and Earth Dragon King. Everyone thought this was a joke. Just because Ling Xiao had defeated the Poison Dragon King didn't mean he could be so arrogant and ignorant. The several hundred people who had come were all the Black Dragon King's elite subordinates, and several dozen of them are Transcendent Realm 8th Layer Masters. Even if Ling Xiao was strong, could he fight against so many people? Your Majesty, Dragon Emperor, leave this person to me. The one who spoke was a man in black. The dragon race people only knew that this man in black was a guard brought by the Imperial Grandmaster, but they didn't know that he was a master sent by the Black Spirit organization specifically to deal with Ling Xiao. This person's cultivation was comparable to the Poison Dragon King's. Although he knew that Ling Xiao had snatched the Poison Dragon King's Dragon Pearl, he thought it was only because the Poison Dragon King had underestimated him. The Black Spirit Master jumped down from the Cyclops, and like an arrow from a crossbow, he instantly arrived in front of Ling Xiao and sent out a palm strike towards Ling Xiao. His movements were like a fierce dragon, and his palm was like thunder. His true chi condensed into a strange vortex, causing a bright yellow light to wildly distort. This punch directly shook the trees around Ling Xiao and caused them to explode. Black Spirit Martial Skill, Earth-Shattering Heaven-Shocking Palm, an invincible 9th Layer Transcendent Realm Cultivator's aura was extremely powerful. This person's killing intent was condensed from killing countless people. He was not good at anything else, but this set of martial skills had already reached the acme of perfection, to the point of perfection. It was rumored that when a Black Spirit Master reached this level of strength, he could kill an 8th grade vicious beast with a single palm strike. However, in Ling Xiao's eyes, it was as if this Black Spirit Master didn't exist at all. He didn't even move his sword, only casually pointing his finger. This finger strike seemed weak and powerless, completely lacking in spirit. Compared to the Black Spirit Master's earth-shattering, heaven-shocking palm, it was simply incomparable. Ha ha ha! The Poison Dragon King actually lost to a weakling like you. With your true chi, with your cultivation, you actually dare to say you can kill the Black Dragon King? What do you mean by overestimating yourself? What do you mean by a mantis trying to stop a chariot? It's talking about idiots like you. The Black Spirit Master's face was filled with disdain and arrogance as he madly laughed. Pucci! However, in the next moment, just as he finished speaking, before his laughter stopped, Ling Xiao's finger strike suddenly changed, like a dragon's roar, like a bolt of lightning descending from the heavens. A terrifying aura spread out from Ling Xiao's body. The Black Spirit Master felt as if, at this moment, he was facing the entire world. Ling Xiao hadn't even used the Mountain River Will. He had only used the 9 Meridians Chi Sword after his strength had increased. It was just an ordinary finger strike, yet it created such a terrifying effect. The Chi sword pierced through the void and instantly arrived in front of the Black Spirit Master. Chapter 561. Don't! The Black Spirit Master was shocked. He gave up on attacking and condensed all his chi into his protective chi, trying to defend himself. The Black Spirit Imperial Advisor, Black Dragon King, jumped up and tried to save the Black Spirit Master, but it was too late. How could Ling Xiao return empty-handed when he made a move? This chi sword directly pierced through the Black Spirit Master's protective chi and pierced through his throat. Blood and flesh flew everywhere. Half of his neck was cut off and his head was on the verge of collapsing. Plop! His corpse fell to the ground. The arrogant Black Spirit Master turned into a cold corpse in a blink of an eye. Moreover, it was an incomplete corpse. At this moment, the Black Dragon King and the Black Spirit Imperial Advisor arrived. One of them was on guard against Ling Xiao, while the other went to check on the Black Spirit Master. They tried to save him, but found out in despair that the Black Spirit Master's injuries were not only superficial, Even his internal organs were destroyed by the sword chi. Even if they were Deluo golden immortals, they would not be able to save him. Moreover, they were not good at saving people. They are better at killing people. No one can save the people that I, Ling Xiao, want to kill. He knew that I almost killed the Poison Dragon King, but he still dared to come and die. I really admire his courage, but it is a pity that he is just a brute. Ling Xiao stood there with his hands behind his back. The wind blew his long hair, and his clothes were also fluttering. He had the demeanor of a master. He was not interested in the others. Only the Black Dragon King and the Black Spirit Imperial Advisor gave him the desire to challenge them. If he killed them, his cultivation would probably increase by another step. He had eliminated too many people in the Moonlight Pagoda, especially Ming Tian and Xin Tianlin. He was very clear what kind of treatment he would receive when he went out. Therefore, he must increase his strength as soon as possible. The stronger the better. So strong that no one would dare to slander him. Strength is a good thing. The stronger you are, the higher your status will be. There will be people willing to believe your words. Moreover, he never forgot about his parents. Hong Chi's grandfather said that unless his strength reached a certain level, he would not be able to get any information about his parents. Therefore, he must become stronger. Become stronger. Brat, your methods are so vicious, and your heart is so cruel. Even if you kill someone, you don't have to be so cruel, right? The Black Dragon King stared at Ling Xiao, his eyes emitting dense killing intent. However, Ling Xiao killing a Black Spirit Master made him more cautious, so he didn't make a move immediately. The young man in front of him was really not easy to deal with. If he was not careful, he might fail miserably. Really. The old Dragon Emperor treated you with great kindness. But what about you, Black Dragon King? Not only did you assassinate the old Dragon Emperor, you almost wiped out the entire Golden Dragon clan. What right do you have to talk to me about cruelty? Ling Xiao couldn't help but sneer. Moreover, you actually tried to collude with the Black Spirit Organization to escape from the Moonlight Pagoda and harm the Yuehua School. With me, Ling Xiao, around, I definitely won't let you succeed. Nonsense, what proof do you have? The Black Dragon King said coldly. What a joke! I believe that many people know that you killed the old Dragon Emperor, but they didn't dare to say it out loud. As for colluding with the Black Spirit Organization, do I need to say more? The state preceptor beside you is a member of the Black Spirit Organization, and the person I killed is also a member of the organization. Ling Xiao said lightly. The Black Spirit is different from humans and dragons. Their outer appearance, including their internal structure, can be seen. If you don't mind, Black Dragon King, can you let everyone see the corpse? You don't have the right. The Black Dragon King snorted. How dare you slander the state preceptor? I'll kill you now and let you know that the dignity of the Dragon Emperor is not to be challenged. Then, he suddenly sent a voice transmission to Ling Xiao. So what if you know these things? I'll kill you first, and then I'll slaughter the Yuehua School. Cut the crap, let's see who's stronger. Ling Xiao was very clear that it was meaningless to reason with an unreasonable person. Instead of talking, it was better to fight. After saying that, Ling Xiao quickly entered his human dragon form and circulated his true origin. A clear dragon roar resounded through the sky. At the same time, behind Ling Xiao, a faintly discernible scene of mountains and rivers appeared. It was the first time he had used the mountain river martial spirit to form a virtual image. However, the image was too blurry, and it was not very clear. What kind of martial spirit is this? Everyone who came here knew that Ling Xiao had a martial spirit, but they had never seen such a magnificent and dazzling martial spirit. It was as if the whole world had been absorbed into the martial spirit. This made the hundreds of elites, led by the Black Dragon King, change their expressions. The dragon tribesmen, who came to watch the show, also showed a look of astonishment. Kill! Everyone attack together and surround this kid. We can't let him escape. The Black Dragon King gave the order. Hundreds of elites moved out at the same time, urging the Earth Dragon and the Cyclops Behemoth to rush out and surround Ling Xiao, forming an airtight encirclement. Righteousness of the underworld. No one cared about righteousness of the underworld. Killing the enemy was the only goal. A bunch of idiots. Ling Xiao suddenly revealed a smirk, and the overflow rain sword in his hand flashed. In an instant, the sky was filled with dark clouds, lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled. Overflow rain sword, rotting sword rain. This move was a special skill of the overflow rain sword. It could kill enemies in a large area and cause a strong corrosive effect. The stronger the sword owner was, the stronger the corrosive effect. It was only limited to the Transcendence realm. In an instant, a torrential rain poured down from the sky. However, it was not water droplets, but sword blades. It was a sharp blade that could corrode everything. Ah, no, what's going on? In an instant, screams sounded one after another. In just one move, hundreds of elites were reduced to a few dozen in an instant. The rest had all fallen under the attack of the rotting sword rain. After all, this was a group attack, so its power was slightly weaker. Therefore, the damage it caused to the stronger dragon race cultivators was limited. Bastard! The Black Dragon King attacked in anger. He did not transform into his black dragon form, but instead fought with Ling Xiao in his human dragon form. He opened his black dragon claws and clawed at Ling Xiao. In an instant, black, true qi kept churning, like a black mountain pressing down. Black Mountain Claw. This was still not a dragon race martial skill. Ling Xiao suspected that the reason the Black Dragon King maintained his human dragon form was to use this martial skill. It was likely that he learned it from the Black Spirit Organization or the Flame Deity. Ling Xiao did not retreat. He stabbed out with the overflow rain sword again and again, destroying the Black Mountain Claw's true chi layer by layer. He stabbed out 7 times in a row. The will of the mountains and rivers accompanied by sword chi pierced out, directly shattering the Black Mountain Claw. In an instant, sand and stones flew, and the mountains collapsed. After the two sides exchanged blows, the Black Dragon King's face turned pale, and his dragon claws trembled slightly. Under Ling Xiao's feet, the ground was almost completely shattered. His face was flushed, and his legs trembled slightly. This time, the two of them were actually evenly matched in this exchange. Chapter 562. Black Dragon King, is that all you have? I didn't use any sword moves and only used normal attacks on you, but you were unable to cause the slightest bit of damage to me. You dare to threaten to kill me with just this? Ling Xiao sneered and activated the Heavenly Dragon Golden Body. His body quickly returned to normal, his legs no longer trembled, and his face no longer flushed red. I'm just teasing you. Do you really think you're that powerful? If I want to kill you, it would be like slaughtering a dog or a chicken. Black Dragon King's expression also returned to normal. His true essence suddenly became stronger, and his originally tall and mighty body became even taller. His body, which was originally only 2 to 3 meters tall, instantly grew to 5 to 6 meters tall. Not only that, his entire body had almost completely transformed into the appearance of a black dragon, including the black dragon scales, black head, blood-red dragon eyes, and dragon claws. Black chi surged around his body, and it was actually much stronger than before. The moment this form appeared, all the spiritual energy in the world seemed to surge towards his body, producing some kind of special resonance. In the sky, a pitch-black cloud appeared, and it actually had signs of causing the world to change. Brat, I have lived for more than 10,000 years. Although I am unable to reach a stronger cultivation because of the seal, the amount of battles I have experienced, and the amount of time I have cultivated far exceeds yours. This form is something that you will never be able to condense. Black Dragon King stood proudly and said coldly Today, I will let you know what the dragon race is, what the black dragon is. As soon as he finished speaking, his huge body suddenly pounced forward. A gust of wind actually lifted up a huge rock, causing smoke and dust to swirl around. It was extremely fierce. In this form, Black Dragon King's strength was already close to Black Dragon form, but his speed did not slow down. Instead, his moves were even more vicious and terrifying. Almost every punch would cause a huge crack to appear on the ground. He had a feeling that the current Black Dragon King was 30 to 40% stronger than before. This time, the dragon claw condensed into a fist and punched down. Black flames exploded and a crazy heat wave engulfed the scene. Black Flame Fist. Black flames wrapped around the huge dragon claw, forming a huge fireball that smashed towards Ling Xiao's head like a meteorite. Ling Xiao's expression was indifferent. The overflow rain sword in his hand was replaced by the ice dragon sword. His body was also gradually changing. His original humanoid dragon form gradually developed in the direction of the primordial golden dragon. He looked 80% like a human and 20% like a dragon. The dragon horns on his head were even clearer. Thunder, celestial phenomenon, water fusion. Amidst the thunderous roar, the force field around them suddenly changed. The Black Dragon King's tyrannical punch actually brushed past the tip of the sword and landed 3 to 5 meters away from Ling Xiao, instantly creating a huge crater burning with black flames. Within the vague shadows of mountains and rivers behind Ling Xiao, the glaciers became more and more real, and then almost seemed to condense into a solid entity. Power of glacier, ice storm. He didn't hold back. Facing the Black Dragon King, Ling Xiao didn't dare to hold back either. Within the violent snowstorm, there was a powerful will of mountains and rivers. It was like a glacier directly piercing towards the Black Dragon King. The Black Dragon King's expression changed slightly. He knew that his defense could not block this attack. The Black Spirit Imperial Advisor finally made his move. Originally, he wanted the Black Dragon King to kill Ling Xiao alone. This way, it would obviously increase the Black Dragon King's reputation. But from the looks of it now, if he still didn't make a move, the Black Dragon King would probably fall. Black Rope Purgatory. The moment the Black Spirit Imperial Advisor made his move, countless Black True Essence shot out from his body. These Black True Essence were like black ropes, entangling the Ice Dragon sword in Ling Xiao's hand. This Black Rope Purgatory was an absolute art of Black Spirit. It was an innate martial art. Like the dragon's roar, it could continuously increase its power as one's strength increased. In the hands of the Black Spirit Imperial Advisor, it had the power of a peak gold rank martial art. True essence condensed into a black rope, entangling the enemy or their weapon. Not only could it inject terrifying illusions, it could also absorb the enemy's true essence. The spectators could clearly see that the range of the black rope was wrapped in a black space. This was a martial skill that involved the power of space. The black rope suddenly tightened and actually wanted to pull the ice dragon's sword away from Ling Xiao's hands. At that time, Ling Xiao could even feel that his true essence was being sucked away by the black rope along with the ice dragon sword. It's indeed strange. Ling Xiao frowned slightly and suddenly raised the purple flash sword in his right hand. Purple lightning shocks the world. The resplendent purple light soared into the sky, and the pitch-black night sky instantly became as bright as day. Break for me. Ling Xiao faced the black rope purgatory. Although it was a bit troublesome at the beginning, he did not have the slightest fear. The purple flash sword used a special skill to upgrade to an immortal rank artifact, which was enough to cut through the black rope purgatory. Crackle! The purple flash sword emitted the sound of electricity. Lightning, celestial phenomenon. Boom! Under the attack of the immortal rank artifact, purple lightning shocks the world. all of the black ropes were like ordinary ropes. They were cut into pieces and immediately lost their original effect. Even the black rope purgatory was cut open by the sword, revealing a bright light. Crackle! Crackle! The continuous flow of electricity shattered the black spirit Imperial Advisor's black cloak, revealing his strange face. That face was very strange. It had no eyes, no nose, and no mouth. It was simply a black hole of nothingness. Could it be that black spirit didn't have a physical body? Ling Xiao suddenly thought of this. When he killed the black spirit expert, he felt it. That feeling was very strange. It was as if the corpse did not belong to the black spirit expert. It's really someone from the Black Spirit organization. Our Imperial Preceptor has always been our enemy. The Black Dragon King actually conspired with his enemy to seize the throne. For a moment, the onlookers became excited. Black Dragon King, your plot has been exposed. I want to see how long you can keep your mouth shut, Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. So what? As long as I kill you, what can those cowards do? I am still the Dragon Emperor. The Black Dragon King roared. That's true. It seems like only by killing you can we solve this problem. Ling Xiao took a deep breath and looked at the two experts in front of him. If he wanted to kill these two today, he would have to use all of his skills. Otherwise, it would not be easy for him. Everyone listen to my order. Surround Ling Xiao and set up the dragon trapping array. We must kill this brat. The Black Dragon King's face was gloomy. He did not care about his face anymore. It did not matter if he was the only one who did it. As long as he could kill Ling Xiao, it would be a victory. Those who are watching the show, listen up. Whoever is willing to help will be the hero of the Dragon Nation. Not only will they be given a high position, but they will also be rewarded with top martial arts. The Black Dragon King continued to incite the crowd. If you just watch the show, you will not be rewarded. Of course, as long as you don't help Ling Xiao, you will still have your original position. He did not want to offend those who were watching the show, although he really hated those people. Chapter 563. Although the Black Dragon King hated those onlookers, he was helpless. Right now, he didn't dare to completely offend those onlookers. If he really did, those onlookers would instantly betray him and join forces with Ling Xiao to kill him. At that time, it would be too late for him to cry, "Kill! Kill! Men die for wealth. Birds die for food." In the face of benefits, few people could remain calm. Although Ling Xiao had already shown his strength, some people still felt that the Black Spirit Organization and the Black Dragon King were stronger together. Now, as long as they joined the Black Dragon King, not only would they obtain benefits, they would also be safer. The 30 or so remaining experts under the Black Dragon King, in addition to the thousands of Dragon Clan cultivators who were willing to join the Black Dragon King, released their true chi and poured it into a magic artifact called the Dragon Trapping Pillar. This magic artifact was a rare grade artifact. Although it was called the Dragon Trapping Pillar, it could actually trap any living thing. As long as one poured their true chi into it, the Dragon Trapping Pillar would automatically release a Dragon Trapping Array. Arranging a spirit array was very simple, which was why the Black Dragon King had the upper hand in the battle against the Golden Dragon Clan. Asterisk 1. Asterisk, a strange sound rang out as hundreds of rays of light suddenly appeared on the Dragon Trapping Pillar, interweaving into a strange pattern of a rope trapping a dragon. This pattern continued to hover above the Dragon Trapping Pillar before quickly enveloping everything within a radius of several hundred meters, with Ling Xiao as the center. Cracking sounds could be heard from the shattered boulders and trees. The ground continued to sink as if it was being pressed down by something. A dragon trapping array arranged by thousands of Dragon Clan cultivators working together with the Dragon Trapping Pillar was definitely not to be underestimated. According to common sense, this kind of spirit array, no matter how strong a peak 7th layer transcendent realm cultivator was, they would definitely be killed. In this way, the Black Dragon King and the Black Spirit, Imperial Tutor, wouldn't need to act. Unfortunately, Ling Xiao wasn't an ordinary person. He couldn't be judged by common sense. His mountain river martial spirit was the martial spirit of the first human king, the sacred dynasty's divine ancestor. It was a martial spirit that encompassed the entire mysterious world's laws. As the dragon trapping array pressed down, Ling Xiao's pupils turned golden as strange inscriptions and numbers constantly flashed. He was analyzing the dragon trapping formation, looking for its flaws and ways to control it. In the face of such a powerful formation, Ling Xiao was not afraid at all. Instead, he revealed a smug smile. This bunch of idiots, even if they were to join forces to attack him, it would still be better than using a formation to deal with him. This was simply giving him a head on a silver platter. Ling Xiao stood there, allowing the dragon trapping array to fall on his head. Then, at some point, the true essence in his body actually connected with the dragon trapping array. This formed a perfect cycle. Like a fruit on a tree, it began to crazily absorb the nutrients in the dragon trapping array. Kill him quickly, quickly! The Black Spirit Imperial Preceptor had the best eyesight. He saw that something was wrong, and his voice became sharp. Unfortunately, he didn't have a face, so she couldn't see his expression clearly. However, from the sound of his voice, she guessed that he was very nervous. Black Rope Purgatory. The Black Spirit Imperial Advisor once again used the Black Rope Purgatory, attempting to combine it with the dragon trapping array to kill Ling Xiao. Black Dragons, roar! The Black Dragon King finally used his own dragon's roar. The terrifying energy accumulated to a point. His true essence was like a majestic sun as it shot out, forming an earth-shattering aura that blasted towards Ling Xiao. It was as if an ancient almighty was launching an attack. Pung, 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 pung. The rest of the warriors who were free also launched their own attacks, all of which landed on Ling Xiao's body. Ling Xiao's heavenly dragon scale armor began to shatter. After all, these attacks weren't child's play. They were too powerful. If he hadn't secretly controlled the dragon trapping array to weaken the power of these attacks, he probably wouldn't have been able to withstand it. Ha ha ha! Are you guys trying to scratch this young master's itch? Although Ling Xiao didn't feel good, he liked this feeling. It wasn't that he liked to torture himself, but because as long as he could withstand the attacks, the dragon trapping array would continuously transfer the energy into his body, becoming an opportunity for him to increase his strength. Shameless boasting. Don't listen to this brat's bluff. Continue attacking. He definitely can't withstand it. Don't stop attacking. No one believed Ling Xiao's words. This was, of course, under such circumstances. How could any enemy believe his words? Over 1,000 warriors. Each of them had a ferocious and excited expression. As long as they killed Ling Xiao, they would be able to obtain everything they wanted. For those things, even if they had to kill an innocent person, so what? It wasn't like they hadn't done that before. Ling Xiao sneered and didn't say anything. He continued to absorb the energy in a low-key manner. This could be considered the greatest opportunity after entering the Moonlight Pagoda. He definitely couldn't let it go. He could feel that something in his body had changed. The primordial golden dragon cells continued to increase. 31, 32, 40. When 40 primordial golden dragon cells awakened, his strength increased by another 500 kilograms for no reason. Not only that, but the more primordial golden dragon cells in his body, the stronger his strength in his dragon form. Originally in his dragon form, his strength could increase by 50%. If he used the Dragon Clan's martial arts, it could even double. And with the awakening of the primordial golden dragon cells, his attack strength increased by another 40%. With this accumulation, his combat strength was close to that of the primordial golden dragon. And things definitely didn't end there. Ling Xiao felt that his cultivation was also constantly rising. Although he didn't take any elixirs, he had consumed the fire spirit fruit and water spirit fruit, and also absorbed the gold spirit core. The medicinal effects hadn't been completely digested yet. He could use this opportunity to constantly temper his original cultivation and then consolidate his realm. On this foundation, he continued to rise. If one could see Ling Xiao's blood now, they would definitely discover that some golden cells had appeared in Ling Xiao's dark red blood, and there were more and more of them. When these cells reached a certain level, his blood would completely transform into the golden, primordial golden dragon blood. At that time, he would really be as powerful as the primordial dragon emperor. Boom! His strength had finally accumulated to a certain level, and it was completely a gift from his opponent. Above his head, a dazzling golden light burst forth, like an ancient primordial golden dragon soaring straight into the sky. Early transcendent 8th layer, Ling Xiao had broken through once again. When a cultivator reached the 8th layer divine transformation realm, their entire body would undergo earth-shaking changes, evolving in the direction of a god, almost completely breaking free from the shackles of the human cage. Not good. How did he break through? Isn't he only at the middle transcendent 7th layer? But this doesn't feel like the 7th layer at all. Early transcendent 8th layer. How could this be? Countless people exclaimed. Chapter 564. Among the crowd, one person's eyes lit up. She was a descendant of the ancient nature dragon. To be precise, she was only an emerald dragon. However, she was the ruler of the emerald dragons, the Emerald Dragon King. This boy really is the inheritor of the ancient golden dragon's bloodline, and he seems to have surpassed his father. He actually saw through the dragon trapping array and used it to break through his cultivation. Amazing! Like the Emerald Dragon King, the other leaders of the dragon race also felt apprehensive and wanted to submit. After all, the golden dragon race was the orthodox race. If Ling Xiao could really defeat the Black Dragon King, then they would naturally choose to remain loyal to the golden dragon race. Ling Xiao didn't know what these dragon race leaders were thinking. After his breakthrough, he used the power of the dragon trapping array to consolidate his cultivation before revealing a sinister grin. Since you're helping the Black Dragon King, don't blame me for being ruthless. Dragon's Wrath. The dragon trapping array, which was already under his control, suddenly emitted a dazzling light and released a terrifying shockwave outwards. Rumbling sounds rang out continuously as explosions rang out. Dragon men with slightly lower cultivation were directly blown to pieces. The thousands of dragon race cultivators were basically all killed in this attack. Even the dozens of elites under the Black Dragon King were mostly killed, leaving only 4 or 5 who were still alive, but they were all seriously injured. The Black Dragon King and the Black Spirit Imperial Tutor were also sent flying by the terrifying shockwave, but their cultivation and defense were strong, so they didn't die and only suffered some minor injuries. Ha 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 ha, Black Dragon King. Black Spirit Imperial Tutor. I really have to thank you for trapping me with the dragon trapping array, which helped me break through to the transcendent realm 8th layer. Otherwise, I really don't know how long I would have had to wait. Ling Xiao walked out of the smoke like a golden dragon. In order to thank you, I won't torture you anymore. I'll let you all die happily in this beautiful mountain range. So, Ling Xiao's body suddenly moved. Although it seemed like a crazy speed, there was a sense of ease and ease in his movements, as if he was taking a stroll in the park. In an instant, he arrived beside a heavily injured Black Dragon elite and stabbed out with his sword. This 8th layer transcendent realm Black Dragon elite didn't even have time to react before the purple lightning sword pierced through his body, sending a terrifying electric current coursing through his body. After a short moment, his entire body dried up and all the blood in his body was burned dry, causing him to become a terrifying dried corpse. Congealing water. The purple flash sword's congealed water was very interesting. It was blue and lustrous like electricity. In an instant, he passed through the bodies of two black dragon elites. His movements were so relaxed and direct. Bang! The two bodies first froze and then shattered. The corpses turned into pieces and fell to the ground. There were still blue electric currents flashing constantly. In the blink of an eye, 3 black dragon elites died under his sword. They didn't even give the Black Dragon King and the Black Spirit Imperial Advisor a chance to save them. Damn it. I didn't expect that this kid was actually proficient in formations, and instead used our dragon trapping formation to break through. The Black Dragon King watched his elites die one by one. He was so angry that his liver and guts were about to burst. After all, if he wanted to rule the dragon race, he couldn't do it without these black dragon elites. Not to mention, many of them were his relatives. He was very worried that his son would also die at the hands of Ling Xiao, so he transformed into his black dragon form and arrived in front of Ling Xiao in just 2 steps. "Kid, hand over your life." He hoped that he could stop Ling Xiao and prevent Ling Xiao from continuing to kill. In his huge black dragon form, the Dragonland actually began to wither. Black energy constantly entered the Black Dragon King's body from under his feet. This guy, has he already refined the Dragonland into his own magic weapon? Ling Xiao frowned slightly. He didn't expect this situation, but it didn't matter. He just had to kill the Black Dragon King. The Moonlight Dragonland is mine. The Black Dragon King's huge black wings flapped constantly. A large amount of world energy and life force poured into his body from the ground, causing his body to constantly expand as if it was about to explode. Wrath of the Dragon Clan. The Black Dragon King originally planned to continue absorbing energy, but Ling Xiao had already gone to the Black Dragon Young Lord. In order to save his son, he had no choice but to use the wrath of the Dragon Clan that he had yet to fully condense. This attack condensed all the true essence in his body and the world energy within a radius of dozens of miles. It gushed out in the form of dragon's extinguishment, wanting to turn Ling Xiao into dust. Ling Xiao suddenly turned back. The true essence in his body erupted. Golden light constantly wrapped around his body, and the golden dragon scales flickered with a dazzling light. This could be considered as creating a diversion to the east and attacking the west. He deliberately attacked the Black Dragon Young Lord, but his actual goal was the Black Dragon King. In an instant, his body entered the form of the immemorial Golden Dragon. His huge body was not inferior to the Black Dragon, and it was even more mighty and valiant. Will of mountains and rivers, dragons, roar! Behind him, the image of mountains and rivers was faintly condensed. The martial soul of mountains and rivers was all-encompassing. It could even be used in the form of the immemorial Golden Dragon. The dragon's roar was already terrifying enough. Coupled with the will of mountains and rivers, it crashed into the Black Dragon King's wrath of the Dragon Clan. In the blink of an eye, the terrifying scene of the Dragon Clan's wrath collided with the dragon's roar under the will of mountains and rivers. An earth-shattering true essence storm appeared at the point of collision. In this storm, there seemed to be a living creature wailing and a divine dragon roaring. The storm soared into the sky, forming a pillar of golden and black light that pierced through the sky. It was nearly 100 meters tall. The situation was very strange. Ling Xiao's huge body in the form of the immemorial Golden Dragon rushed out of the true essence storm. His entire body was still shining with golden light, and there was not the slightest injury. However, on the other side, the Black Dragon King's body was torn apart by the angry golden light. He fell from the storm, his body covered in black and red blood. The originally shiny black scales were now covered in dark red marks and scars. How is this possible? You're not from the Golden Dragon Clan. The Black Dragon King looked at Ling Xiao in horror. There was only despair and shock left in his eyes. Even if your talent is outstanding, It's impossible for you to be so powerful. You're an immemorial golden dragon? No, you're the Dragon Emperor. The Dragon Emperor of the Great Desolation. His voice was only heard by Ling Xiao in the storm. It's a little too late for you to know now. Ling Xiao sneered without any emotion. The huge golden dragon claw slapped the Black Dragon King's head, and blood spurted out like a huge fountain. Ling Xiao naturally would not waste it. This was the dragon blood of the Black Dragon King. It was definitely very precious. He kept the dragon blood in the mountain river world and placed it in a separate place. He also cut out the Black Dragon King's dragon pearl and temporarily placed it in the mountain river world. Apart from that, he also collected the Dragonland magical treasure. Chapter 565. Ling Xiao was prepared to absorb the energy of the Poison Dragon King's dragon pearl before absorbing the energy of the Black Dragon King's dragon pearl. Seeing the terrifying scene of Ling Xiao killing the Black Dragon King, countless dragons trembled. Such a powerful Black Dragon King was actually ravaged by this young man. This young man is too terrifying. Run! The Black Dragon young lord was so scared that he no longer had any thoughts of resisting. He brought the remaining Black Dragon experts and fled in panic. Imperial Tutor, help me take care of my son. The Black Dragon King was indeed from the dragon race. Even though he was injured to such an extent, he still used his last breath to shout to the Imperial Tutor. This brat must be eliminated as soon as possible. Otherwise, there will be endless troubles. He is neither a human nor a dragon. He is a demon of the desolate era. His voice was mournful and miserable. Hearing it, one's scalp tingled. The Imperial Tutor was already frightened by Ling Xiao's fighting style. Since the Black Dragon King was already dead, he did not want to stay and die. Thus, he quickly fled the scene. You want to leave after acting cool? In your dreams. Ling Xiao flapped his huge wings and instantly flew dozens of miles. With a slap, he turned the Black Dragon young lord and the other Dragonians into meat paste. Then he stood in front of the Imperial Tutor. The Imperial Tutor was already scared out of his wits. How could he still have the strength to fight? He only cared about escaping. In the end, he was pressed to the ground by Ling Xiao's claw. Then, Ling Xiao shot out dozens of heavenly dragon divine finger until the Imperial Tutor was left with his last breath. Ling Xiao did not kill him. Instead, he kept him in the mountain river world. This creature was the main culprit behind the disappearance of the human king and other experts 100,000 years ago. He really had to study it carefully. After doing all these, Ling Xiao returned to his human form. Then he heard the cheers of the dragon race. Sure enough, they were a group of fence-sitters. Ling Xiao secretly sneered. When he was fighting with the Black Dragon King, these guys were just spectators. Now that he killed the Black Dragon King, they immediately chose to submit. However, it didn't matter. This dragon's land had been refined into a magic weapon by the Black Dragon King. If he kept it, he could monitor the movements of these dragons at any time. If there were any who dared to betray him, he would definitely not be lenient. Return to Dragon Palace, Ling Xiao said indifferently. Then the golden dragon wings on his back unfurled. Long Qin and Lin Bei were already beside him. Lin Bei, after we go back, you will be in charge of all the matters of the dragon tribe for the time being. I still have other things to do, so I won't waste any more time. Ling Xiao did not forget that he was still in the Moonlight Pagoda. Entering the dragon's land had been an accident, and now that he had dealt with the matters here, he had to continue with the pagoda ascension ceremony. Although Yan Kai hadn't found any clues about the fourth stage in the dragon land this time, that wasn't important as he had already obtained a lot of benefits. His cultivation had even broken through to the early stage of the Transcendent Realm 8th layer, and he had also obtained 2 Dragon King's dragon pearls. Your Majesty Dragon Emperor, the Emerald Dragon King of the Emerald Dragon Clan, and the Silver Dragon King of our Silver Dragon Clan are both loyal to the old Dragon Emperor. It would be more appropriate for them to assist Your Majesty Dragon Emperor. Lin Bei said modestly, "Don't argue about this matter anymore. In the entire dragon tribe, I only trust the two of you. In the future, Long Chen will be the new Dragon Emperor and will control the Dragon Land. You will assist him. As for the Emerald Dragon King and Silver Dragon King, let's see how they perform first." Ling Xiao still had his own matters to attend to, so he couldn't lead the dragon tribe to do anything. It was more appropriate to leave this matter to Long Chen. As long as Long Chen was loyal to him, the entire dragon tribe would be under his control, which would save him a lot of trouble. Of course, he also had a backup plan. If Long Chen was bewitched and wanted to leave or betray him, he naturally had the means to replace him with a new dragon emperor. That's right, he wanted to control the dragon tribe in the palm of his hand. After all, these guys were ancient divine beasts. Once they rebelled, it would be very troublesome. Not long after, the dragon tribe returned to Dragon Palace City. Ling Xiao publicly announced that the Black Dragon King had been killed and then promoted Long Chen to the position of Dragon Emperor. As for the Black Dragon clan, he had no interest in exterminating them. In any case, as long as they were in the land of dragons, the Black Dragon tribe would be under his control. He hoped that these guys weren't brainless. Otherwise, what awaited them would only be a tragedy more terrifying than the end of the world. After the Dragon Emperor's ascension ceremony ended, Long Chen suddenly took out something and gave it to Ling Xiao. Could this be the opportunity of the land of dragons? Ling Xiao felt that his breathing was a little hurried. He clearly saw that it was a book made entirely of gold. It was covered with all kinds of inscription arrays, and there were also 4 clear words, Book of Seals. Little Big Brother, this book was given to the Golden Dragon tribe by the Moonlight Heavenly Maiden for safekeeping. She said that after meeting her successor, it should be returned. Ling Xiao nodded, already understanding in his heart. At that time, the entire mystic world was in trouble. The Book of Seals and the Dragon tribe were put into the Moonlight Pagoda for protection by the Moonlight Heavenly Maiden. That was why it was not taken away by He Ling. He opened the Book of Seals and found that it was completely blank inside. However, there were many grids on it that could be used to embed sealing cards. There were 10 grids on each page, and the Book of Seals had 100 pages. In other words, the maximum number of sealing cards that could be embedded was not more than 1,000. Ling Xiao thought about it and took out the 3 sealing cards that he had obtained earlier. The Lady of Illusionary, the 1,000 poisonous giant python, and the 5-faced monster. He then placed them into the grids. The moment the card was placed inside, it flashed with a strange golden light, and some new text appeared. There are 3 types of sealing cards: monster cards, secret skill cards, and item cards. Each card has a limit to the number of times it can be used. After it's used up, the picture on the card will disappear. However, the card will be preserved and can be used to seal other things. Ling Xiao smiled as he read, "Monsters, secret skills, and items that are sealed by sealing cards can be completely controlled by the holder of the Book of Seals. However, monsters that are sealed by the holder of the Book of Seals must be defeated by the holder of the Book of Seals." Let's give it a try. Ling Xiao looked at the 3 cards in his Book of Seals. They should be monster cards. Release Infinite Poison Boa. As Ling Xiao took out the Infinite Poison Boa's sealing card, the Book of Seals emitted a dazzling golden light. He then chanted, and the Infinite Poison Boa immediately appeared in the Dragon Palace. Theoretically, such a beast would rush to attack anything that it saw. However, the Infinite Poison Boa was very calm at that moment. It seemed to be waiting for Ling Xiao's order. "Follow me." Ling Xiao ordered the Infinite Poison Boa to follow him to the barren land outside the Dragon Palace. "Attack that giant rock." The Infinite Poison Boa roared and pounced on the giant rock. It spat out thick venom, and the giant rock was instantly dissolved by the venom. Great. Unfortunately, it can only be used once. Ling Xiao could not help but sigh. He realized that among the 3 monster cards, only the 5-faced monster could be used 3 times. Meanwhile, the Lady Dreamless and the infinite poison boa could only be used once. Chapter 566. After using it, the seal card became blank. La, stay here and protect Long Chen. As long as the 10,000 poisons python didn't die, it could continue to live. This was a good point. After all, it was a peak level 8 beast. It would be good as Long Chen's mount or bodyguard. Roar. The 10,000 poisons python roared and nodded. Ling Xiao was very satisfied. He took the blank seal card to the place where the battle took place. He pointed at the Black Dragon King's corpse and shouted, "Seal!" The Black Dragon King, who was already broken, was actually sealed in the card. Moreover, it was still in a complete state. The upper left corner showed his strength. Half-step Heavenly Venerable, 10% strength. The upper right corner showed the number of times he could use it, 3 times. It seemed that, at this stage, even a half-step Heavenly Venerable monster could use it 3 times. Not bad, not bad. Ling Xiao was very satisfied with this. It was a pity that he only had 3 seal cards now. Otherwise, he would have sealed the Poison Dragon King. Although the Poison Dragon King wasn't as strong as the Black Dragon King, it wasn't weak. Speaking of the Poison Dragon King, Ling Xiao definitely had to kill it. It was the Black Dragon King's loyal henchman, and he had obtained its dragon pearl. If he didn't kill it, it would be very troublesome. Therefore, after the Poison Dragon King was killed, Ling Xiao reinstated an old fellow who had more prestige in the Poison Dragon clan and was also an enemy of the Poison Dragon King. After putting away the seal book, Ling Xiao went to bid farewell to Long Chen and the others. Then he went outside the Land of the Dragons and took out the magic treasure, Land of the Dragons, that he obtained from the Black Dragon King. He stored the entire Land of the Dragons. At that moment, the ground in the Moonlight Pagoda shook. Several people who were cultivating were awakened. However, their luck wasn't bad. After this energy fluctuation, the monsters that would have come out to cause trouble in the 3rd stage actually hid in their lairs and didn't come out. This was equivalent to giving the trial disciples more time to cultivate. Outside the Moonlight Pagoda, the higher-ups, including the Moon Maiden, were all dumbfounded. This was because they discovered that there was actually a golden divine dragon coiling around the Moonlight Pagoda. After circling for a while, it left. What the hell is going on inside? Why did a golden divine dragon appear? This was something that had never happened in the Tower Ascension ceremony before. Countless questions lingered in the minds of the higher-ups of Yuehua School. They were really eager to know what had happened inside. It was just a pity that even Empyrean Heavenly Eye's vertical eye was unable to see through the situation inside too. He could only wait. After leaving the Land of the Dragon, Ling Xiao didn't look for Dai Yuling, Leng Hao, and Shangguan Lei. Everyone had their own fortuitous encounters. Now, they could only rely on themselves. Ling Xiao still needed to find clues leading to the 4th level, so he went to the next secret area. It was already the 2nd day after they entered the 3rd stage. Normally, there would be a level 8 ferocious beast causing trouble today. People like Dai Yuling, Leng Hao, Shangguan Lei, Lu Lai, Wu Yang, Qin Wu, and the others would be in danger of being eliminated. However, due to the influence of the Dragonland, the level 8 vicious beast did not appear. It could only be said that these people had benefited from Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had inadvertently improved the overall result of this Tower Ascension ceremony by a large margin. Back then, the Flame Deity and Headmaster Chong Yueying only stayed in the 3rd level for 2 days before they were eliminated. Every day that followed was a new record. However, this didn't mean much to Ling Xiao. He didn't care about such an undeserved reputation. His goal was the 4th level that no one had reached in nearly 1,000 years. After half an hour, Ling Xiao arrived at a barren desert. In the desert, scorpion-type vicious beasts that were originally very active were now hiding under the desert. This saved Ling Xiao a lot of effort. Otherwise, those elusive desert scorpions would become a huge threat to any trial disciple. This was most likely the effect of the terrifying dragon aura released by the Land of the Dragon. Black Spirit City. Ling Xiao stopped. In front of him, there was a city standing in the desert. Although it was very damaged, there was a mass of black energy that completely wrapped the city. People outside couldn't easily enter. On the city walls, every brick and stone revealed an evil and ancient aura, revealing the traces of countless years. This wouldn't be the city walls that were built after Black Spirit entered the mystic world 100,000 years ago, right? Ling Xiao had roughly learned about this history from the Dragon Clan, so he quickly associated it with the terrible war that suddenly occurred 100,000 years ago. This architectural style was completely different from the architectural style of the mystic world. Even if it was a building that was preserved 100,000 years ago, it was still incompatible with this thing. It must be built by Black Spirit. Ling Xiao observed for a while and had already determined his thoughts. These buildings built by Black Spirit were full of obvious foreign style. More importantly, there are many things that Ling Xiao couldn't understand at all. There were also no records in the ancient books. Let's go in and see what's going on. Thinking of this, Ling Xiao released a sword soul doppelganger, and it passed through the black light shield without any accident. This meant that the black light shield shouldn't be dangerous to the disciples participating in the Tower Ascension ceremony. The moment he stepped into the black light shield, Yang Kai was surprised to find that there were people inside. And there were actually two of them, the Flame Deity's clone, Wang Nan, and Bai Feifei. Ling Xiao. It's you? Ling Xiao smiled lightly. He was now an early-stage Transcendent Realm 8th layer cultivator and had many trump cards, so he didn't fear Bai Feifei at all. Even with Wang Nan, he might not be afraid. Obtaining the Book of Seals would provide him with powerful combat strength. Good, little brat. How about we cooperate? The Flame Deity's clone, Wang Nan, showed a smile. Cooperate with you? I'm afraid there won't even be bones left. Ling Xiao shook his head. Little brat, this senior always means what he says. This senior wanted to enter Black Spirit City before, but in the end he failed. This is not a secret plane that can be completed by one person. You have no choice. Wang Nan said lightly. After this matter is done, the three of us will divide the loot equally. Godfather, why beg him? Bai Feifei said with some displeasure. Shut up. Father knows what to do. Wang Nan glanced at Bai Feifei, then looked at Ling Xiao and said, This senior believes you are a smart person and will definitely agree to cooperate. You should know that there is no one else here who knows the situation of Black Spirit City better than this senior. There are mechanical puppets made by the Black Spirit clan guarding it. Without this senior's guidance, you will waste a lot of time and energy. Mechanical puppets? Interesting. Ling Xiao had long heard that the Blue Eyes clan's mechanical puppets were found in ancient tombs. Thinking about it this way, it was possible that the Blue Eyes clan's mechanical puppets were brought to the sealed world by the Black Spirit clan. Chapter 567. Ling Xiao was very interested in puppet technology. Thinking that the Black Spirit clan's puppet technology might be left in the Black Spirit City, he was a bit tempted. So, what's your decision? Wang Nan asked. No problem. Ling Xiao nodded. Very good. I didn't think that there would be a day when I would cooperate with you. It's really sad. The Flame Deity's clone, Wang Nan, felt a bit emotional. When Ling Xiao entered Yuehua School, he was just an insignificant ant. He didn't even want to look at him. But he didn't think that today he would have to cooperate with this ant. Ling Xiao's many abilities were beyond his reach. He had to rely on him. Would he sincerely cooperate with Ling Xiao? Of course not. They were just using each other. Whether it was the flame deity by Fei Fei or Ling Xiao, they wouldn't let the other take away their benefits. The flame deity was trying to use Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao also wanted to use the flame deity's experience here. Once he was done, the flame deity would naturally burn the bridge after crossing the river and kill Ling Xiao. He still didn't know about the dragon's land. If he knew, he would probably find a way to kill Ling Xiao faster. As for Ling Xiao, he had also decided he would eliminate Bai Feifei here. He couldn't let this idiot woman continue to become stronger. In addition, he had to destroy the flame deity's clone and completely destroy the flame deity's plot. He could even imagine the flame deity's angry expression after his plan was destroyed. Just thinking about it made him feel excited. Bai Feifei and the flame deity were definitely on the same side. This idiot woman had learned the viciousness and arrogance of her adoptive father, the flame deity, but not his insidiousness. Empyrean Demon Flame reckoned that not only was he scheming against Ling Xiao, but he was also preparing to scheme against Bai Feifei. As for Ling Xiao, he had a grudge against the other two. Naturally, he treated the other two as his opponents, or even enemies. The three of them had a tacit understanding as they walked into the Black Spirit City together. The flame deity's clone, Wang Nan, led the way. Ling Xiao walked in the middle. Bai Feifei stared at Ling Xiao from behind. This idiot woman was probably worried that Ling Xiao would harm the flame deity's clone, so she wanted to monitor Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao just smiled disdainfully. If he wanted to do something, even if Bai Feifei wanted to stop him, she couldn't stop him. Along the way, although there were many monsters, there were no mechanical puppets like the flame deity's clone had mentioned. These monsters were generally around the 8th layer of the Transcendent Realm, so with the strength of Heavenly Venerate Demon Flame's avatar, he didn't even need to do anything. As long as he walked over, the black flames would scare these monsters away. Therefore, the journey was quite leisurely. In front of us should be the most noteworthy place in Black Spirit City, the city, Lord's Mansion. A long time ago, a battle may have occurred there. There are many corpses inside, as well as a large number of scattered divine weapons. About an hour later, the flame deity's clone, Wang Nan, stopped and pointed to a distant building covered in red light. This dazzling red light was actually a terrifying, murderous aura and resentment. 100,000 years ago, a terrible war had broken out here, and many people had died. This senior won't be able to do it alone and will need the help of the two of you. The mechanical puppets, there are at least at the early 9th stage of the Transcendent Realm, while the strongest may have reached the half-step Heavenly Venerable Realm. The flame deity glanced at Ling Xiao and Bai Feifei and explained. After listening to the flame deity's words, Ling Xiao was skeptical, circulating his mountain and river martial spirit. His pupils suddenly became deep and strange inscriptions flickered in the darkness. He wanted to personally analyze this city, Lord's Mansion. The flame deity definitely didn't have good intentions. In an instant, the entire map of the city Lord's Mansion was displayed on the mountain and river martial spirit diagram, including the location and approximate strength of the mechanical puppets inside. This the flame deity was really cunning. He only said that there were mechanical puppets inside, but he didn't mention that there was another kind of creature inside, the Haze Demon. The Haze Demon was something brought from another world by He Ling. They didn't have a fixed form and usually looked like a cloud of fog, but once they attacked, it was impossible to guard against them. The Haze Demon in the city Lord's Mansion was generally weaker than the mechanical puppets, but it was only 1 or 2 realms lower. It was still very powerful. In addition, it was good at sneak attacks. If one didn't know about it from the beginning, they would definitely suffer after entering. The flame deity probably fell under the attack of this Haze Demon, which was why he didn't point it out this time. He was clearly trying to kill Ling Xiao. The three of them continued to set off, and when they entered the city Lord's Mansion, they saw the corpses on the ground. These corpses had been here for too long and had long since rotted away. Most of the divine weapons in their hands had also been destroyed in battle, causing Ling Xiao to feel distressed. The mechanical puppets in the city, Lord's Mansion, were divided into two grades. One was the black iron puppets, and the other was the bronze puppets. Most of the black iron puppets were at the early to late stage of the transcendent realm. There were more of them. The bronze puppets were basically half-step heavenly venerables at the peak of the transcendent realm. Of course, there were very few of them. However, if it were just mechanical puppets, the flame deity might not have needed to recruit Ling Xiao. After all, he and Ling Xiao could be considered enemies. The key was the existence of the hidden haze demon. Some haze demons were even hiding inside the mechanical puppets, waiting for an opportunity to launch sneak attacks. Ling Xiao, you and Fei Fei are responsible for attracting the attention of those mechanical puppets. I'll go get the items, and then we'll leave together. The flame deity's clone, Wang Nan, suddenly said, "You want me to throw my life away? You're even willing to sacrifice your adopted daughter?" Ling Xiao secretly sneered, but thinking about it, this was nothing. Bai Fei Fei was originally Grandmaster Bai Yun's daughter, and the flame deity had never treated Bai Fei Fei as a daughter. This idiot woman actually treated him as her father. Just thinking about it made him feel pitiful and sad. However, a pitiful person must have a detestable side. Bai Fei Fei only had herself to blame for acknowledging a thief as her father. Considering all this, Ling Xiao smiled and said, "Good, Heavenly Venerable is the strongest here. You'll be in charge of getting the items. I absolutely trust you." The flame deity originally thought that he would have to spend a lot of effort persuading Ling Xiao, but he didn't expect Ling Xiao to agree so readily, causing him to feel a little uneasy. "Aren't you afraid that this senior will take the items and run away?" he asked. "Ha ha ha, you won't be able to leave, I'm sure." Ling Xiao laughed, turned around, and rushed into the city, Lord's Mansion. The flame deity's face went cold. He really couldn't understand Ling Xiao's thoughts. Was this guy bluffing, or was he really confident that he wouldn't be able to leave this place? Humph, a trivial seventh-layer transcendent realm cultivator. When did this senior fear this little brat? Chapter 568. The flame deity's clone couldn't help but snort coldly, thinking, so what if Ling Xiao has some tricks up his sleeve? Today, this place will be his burial ground. However, the flame deity didn't know that Ling Xiao wasn't bluffing. The reason why he chose to accept Heavenly Venerable Occult Flame's request to lure those monsters away was because he wanted to use this opportunity to arrange an array formation that could completely suppress and kill Heavenly Venerable Occult Flame's avatar, the Dragon Trapping Array. Ling Xiao wouldn't wait for the flame deity to scheme against him. He wanted to take care of the flame deity, and by Fei Fei first, then slowly take those treasures. Just Empyrean Devil Flame's thoughts. How could he not understand? He wanted nothing more than to borrow the Haze Devil's power to deal with him. Even if he couldn't kill him, he wanted to weaken him. Then he wanted to use him to stall for time so that he could steal all the treasures. According to the flame deity's plan, if Ling Xiao didn't die after obtaining the treasures, the flame deity would definitely stab him in the back. If Ling Xiao died, that would naturally be for the best. In any case, it would be beneficial to the flame deity either way. If Ling Xiao wasn't willing to lure the monsters away, then he would probably immediately receive a thunderous attack from the flame deity's clone. Because at that time, Ling Xiao would be useless. The flame deity wouldn't let him live. 1 against 2. Ling Xiao definitely wouldn't choose this kind of situation. Even if he could win, it would be a Pyrrhic victory. Ling Xiao liked to choose an easy way to solve problems. Bang! After entering the city, Lord's Mansion, Ling Xiao directly stomped on the ground. For a moment, the entire city, Lord's Mansion, shook. However, he controlled his strength well and didn't cause the city, Lord's Mansion, to collapse directly. For a moment, a total of hundreds of guards rushed out from all over the city, Lord's Mansion, and surrounded Ling Xiao. Whoosh! Seeing those mechanical puppets approaching, Ling Xiao leaped, stepped on the head of one of the mechanical puppets, and fled out of the city, Lord's mansion. Fei Fei, follow him and find a chance to kill that brat. The flame deity's doppelganger, Wang Nan, said to Bai Fei Fei. Understood, father. I knew it was impossible for you to cooperate with that brat. I'll go and kill him now. Bai Fei Fei nodded her head and followed after him. Ling Xiao naturally wouldn't be so stupid as to clash head-on with these mechanical puppets, because there were about 10 haze demons hidden between the mechanical puppets. The haze demons weren't strong, but they were very difficult to deal with. What he needed to do now was to use the power of these fellows to activate the dragon trapping formation. As for Bai Fei Fei, that stupid woman, she would be finished with his adoptive father's clone later. Junior brotherling, wait for me. Bai Fei Fei shouted, but she restrained her vital essence as much as possible and didn't provoke those mechanical puppets. She clearly wanted to watch the show. However, Bai Fei Fei didn't know that she was stepping into danger step by step. Ling Xiao activated the cloud dragon divine travel, and the golden dragon wings on his back also stretched out. It looked like he was escaping, but in fact, he was drawing a strange pattern. This pattern was a set of inscriptions. This was the dragon trapping formation modified by Ling Xiao. It could be used without the dragon trapping pillar, but its power would be slightly weaker. However, it was more than enough to deal with the flame deity's doppelganger and Bai Fei Fei. After all, if so many mechanical puppets and haze demons attacked together, the power would be enough to injure or even die tragically unless one was in the celestial realm. The flame deity was indeed a celestial realm elite, but his doppelganger couldn't reach that level. He was still able to draw inscriptions while escaping, and this relied on his speed. One had to know those mechanical puppets were not slow. Very soon, the inscriptions on the ground were already drawn. Ling Xiao suddenly took out a piece of refining array stone, then rushed to the center of that inscriptions. Seeing the scene, Bai Fei Fei was a little puzzled. She did not know what Ling Xiao wanted to do. He clearly already escaped the encirclement, but suddenly entered the encirclement again. Was there something wrong with him? Bang! The mechanical puppets that had been chasing impatiently long ago opened their mouths one after another, shooting out strange and powerful light beams. Ling Xiao in the center of the inscriptions was instantly blasted into pieces. That idiot, how did he die so quickly? I wonder if father got the treasures inside. Bai Fei Fei could not see through Ling Xiao's real body and doppelganger at all. Even Heavenly Eye Empyrean might not be able to tell either. The main reason was that Ling Xiao's doppelganger belonged to the category of having a soul. A real doppelganger was basically not much different from a real person. Apart from having no flesh and blood, the body was purely condensed from energy. However, the smashed corpse had already turned into fine powder. Who knew if it was burned dry flesh powder or energy fragments? Because she was too focused on the dead Ling Xiao, Bai Fei Fei did not notice the inscriptions flickering with an imperceptible faint light on the ground. Ling Xiao was currently hiding in the dark and released another sword soul doppelganger. It still stood in the center of the inscriptions, allowing those mechanical puppets and haze demons to attack. This time, the sword soul doppelganger lasted much longer, mainly because it was prepared and could rely on the inscriptions to guide the energy. Ling Xiao, who had time to spare, looked into the distance. That was the inner hall of the city, Lord's mansion. At this time, the flame deity's doppelganger, Wang Nan, had already entered that place. Because Ling Xiao lured away all the mechanical puppets and haze demons, Wang Nan did not need to fight at all to find the place where the treasures were hidden. In the inner hall, there was a secret room. After the mechanism was activated, an aura that made the flame deity's doppelganger scream in excitement suddenly filled the room. At the same time, all kinds of lights flashed. At a glance, one could tell that those things were definitely not ordinary. Damn it, how could this be? The flame deity's doppelganger touched a burn mark on his hand, and an angry and frightened expression appeared on his face. Not only was there a mechanism in the secret room, but there was also a powerful formation set up. He could not enter at all. If I had known, I would have asked Ling Xiao to come with me. This formation was very powerful. Even if it was him, one of his hands was directly crippled. Fortunately, he did not go in with his whole body. Otherwise, he would have been completely crippled. Thinking of this, Wang Nan's doppelganger directly cut off his left hand and then retreated outside. Ling Xiao must not die. Otherwise, he could forget about this treasure. Ling Xiao saw all of this with his own eyes. At this time, he had already consumed 12 doppelganger, and the dragon trapping formation was completely prepared. It should be relatively easy to suppress the flame deity's doppelganger, and by Fei, seeing Wang Nan's doppelganger approach, Ling Xiao hurriedly rushed out and continued to deal with the mechanical puppets and haze demons. Fei, help rescue Ling Xiao. Wang Nan's doppelganger said to Bai Fei, who was hiding in the dark and watching the show. But father, didn't you just say that you wanted to kill this kid? Wang Nan's doppelganger shook his head and said, the situation is different now. The things inside are blocked by the formation. Among the three of us, only Ling Xiao activated the formation. Damn it, this kid has been using his doppelganger to deal with those monsters. I thought he had died long ago. I was happy for nothing just now, and now my expectations are dashed again. Bai Fei was very unwilling. Why can't this Ling Xiao die? Why? Chapter 569. The doppelganger of the flame deity saw that Bai Fei seemed to be unwilling, so he said with a smile, "It's okay. When we get the things, we can join forces and easily take his life." "That's true." Bai Fei nodded and then jumped into the dragon trapping array with the flame deity. Novel, of course. They did not know that there was a dragon trapping array there. "I've been waiting for you for a long time." Ling Xiao suddenly showed a sinister smile. "Oh no, we've been tricked." The flame deity was very smart. The moment he jumped into the dragon trapping array, he noticed that something was wrong and hurriedly wanted to escape. However, after trapping it with great difficulty, how could Ling Xiao let them go so easily? Dragon trapping array, suppress. In an instant, the energy that had been absorbed was completely released. The flame deity's doppelganger and Bai Fei were both bound by thick chains and could not move at all. Crack! The flame deity's doppelganger, Wang Nan, struggled desperately, and the chains kept making noises. "It's useless, the flame deity. You two just stay here obediently and help me attract the attention of those guys. I'll enjoy the treasure alone." Ling Xiao showed a smile and then rushed out. He estimated that it would take a while to use the dragon trapping array to directly kill the flame deity's doppelganger and Bai Fei. He was not in a hurry. It was better to get the good stuff first. "Damn brat, I'll definitely kill you." "Kill you?" The flame deity's doppelganger was so angry that he vomited blood. He never thought that he would still fall into Ling Xiao's trap, no matter how hard he tried. In the end, he was the one who ended up benefiting Ling Xiao. "Father, what should we do now? This array is too strange. My vital essence is constantly being sucked away." Bai Fei shouted anxiously. "My dear daughter, do you want Ling Xiao to die?" Doppelganger Wang Nan suddenly asked. "Yes, how can I not?" Bai Fei really hated Ling Xiao now. "Well, lend your vital essence to father, then I can break this dragon trapping array and kill that kid," Doppelganger Wang Nan said coldly. "Okay." Bai Fei, this stupid woman, completely followed the flame deity's lead. She did not doubt the flame deity's thoughts at all. It seemed that she really treated the flame deity as her one and only father. Heavenly Venerable Occult Flame probably didn't know that everything was under Ling Xiao's control after entering Black Spirit City. The deities in the first place array. That deity had the treasures array. So he was not afraid to let the flame array flame deity would be the deity head deity hat. Moreover, he predicted that the flame deity would definitely go back to find him and fall into his trap. In this world, there was probably no one who could be more calculating than him. The key was that his mountain river martial spirit's analysis and calculation ability was too terrifying. He could grasp more information than others and even predict some things in advance. He could completely control everything and be undefeated. The flame deity knew too little about him and did not know that he could do all this. Otherwise, he would have been more cautious. Ling Xiao sped up and arrived at the secret room. The mechanism to enter the secret room had been activated by the flame deity's doppelganger, but the array was still there. However, this array was the same as many of the Yuehua school's arrays. It had existed for too long and had many flaws. As long as it was a warrior who used the array, even if he only knew a little, he could find these flaws. Perhaps he could not break the array, but as long as he found the flaws, he could easily enter. There was no need to break it. After finding the flaws, Ling Xiao directly entered the secret room and found that there were many strange glass cabinets in the secret room. Glass was said to be invented by the Blue Eyes race. However, according to Ling Xiao's understanding, it could also be a masterpiece of the Black Spirit race. Moreover, the glass made by the Black Spirit race had many characteristics. For example, there were many special elements in the glass cabinets, which made it extremely hard. Its hardness was not lower than diamond. In addition, there were many arrays on the surface. Although it was not dangerous, it made the glass cabinets even more solid. It was not easy to open them. Through the glass cabinets, Ling Xiao saw many strange things. He had seen many of these things before. However, what he saw at that time was fake. It was just a painting or an illusion. However, it was real here. There was a prop that could allow one to fly by stepping on it. It was extremely fast. In the records, it was called the Wind Fire Wheel. He did not expect it to be made by the Black Spirit race. There was also a prop that was shaped like a flying sword. However, it was wider. One could also fly by stepping on it. It was called the Flying Sword. However, according to Ling Xiao's observation, the meaning of the flying sword was completely different from the meaning of the flying sword. In addition to what was recorded in the records, there were many things that were not recorded. For example, there was a tube-shaped object that could directly spit out terrifying energy. For example, there was a special prop that could allow long-distance communication. For example, there was a strange prop that could record the image of a martial artist. All of these opened Ling Xiao's eyes. It was a pity that he could not take all the things here. This was because the arrays on the glass cabinets were all connected. If he only took one thing, the others would all be destroyed. Presumably, the Black Spirit race did not want to let humans have these things. The key was that these arrays were very complicated. With Ling Xiao's current level, even with the help of the Mountain River Martial Soul, he could not break them. Therefore, what he needed to do now was to choose the item that was most suitable for him from the dazzling array of items, and then leave. As for the other items, there was nothing he could do if they were destroyed. Are there any clues related to the fourth stage? Ling Xiao was most concerned about the fourth stage now. He had a feeling that the fourth stage definitely contained a huge secret. This secret even involved the Moonlight Heavenly Maiden and the Moonlight Pagoda. If he could not find out the truth, he would really suffocate to death. His eyes swept across all the items in the secret room in an instant. Suddenly, his gaze fixed on one of the strange round plates. On the surface, there was nothing special about this round plate. However, Ling Xiao looked through the outside of the round plate and could see that there was a very complicated array inside the round plate. When he saw this array, a brand new map suddenly appeared on the mountain river diagram. This was an extra space. There was an entrance that led to the top. The entrance was circular and was exactly the same size as this round plate. There must be a connection. Ling Xiao did not even have to think about it. This round plate was definitely closely related to the fourth stage. If he obtained it, he could directly open the entrance to the 4th stage. I'd decided. It's you. To be honest, it was not easy to make this decision. This was because almost everything in this secret room emitted a crazy aura. Many of the items even emitted the aura of a spiritual artifact. Moreover, it was the aura of a top-notch divine grade spiritual artifact. Chapter 570. Among the many divine weapons, Ling Xiao chose the disc that could lead him to the 4th stage. It wasn't an easy choice. Most people would probably choose the divine grade spiritual weapon. After all, even if they entered the 4th stage, they might be eliminated directly and might not get anything in the end. Just as Ling Xiao put the disc into his storage ring, a powerful aura came from outside the secret chamber. Boom! The entire secret chamber trembled. Ling Xiao, get out here! It was the flame deity's doppelganger, Wang Nan, who appeared outside. However, this guy's aura seemed to be much stronger than before. However, his body was a little weak. Boom! The secret chamber began to self-destruct. Ling Xiao had no choice but to rush out of the formation. He had no choice. If the flame deity had come earlier, he could have used the secret chamber's formation to protect himself. However, it seemed that he couldn't do so now. When he was outside the secret chamber, Ling Xiao could see more clearly. At this time, Wang Nan's doppelganger was bleeding from many wounds all over his body. This guy must have used some method to break the dragon-trapping formation and was injured as a result. It was obvious that the flame deity hated Ling Xiao to the core. There was a strong hatred in his eyes, and he couldn't wait to tear Ling Xiao into pieces. "Oh, you're still alive. Where's Bai Feifei?" Ling Xiao asked with a smile. "Bastard, Ling Xiao, go to hell. I can't care so much." The flame deity didn't dare to kill a trial disciple in the Moonlight Pagoda because it might be rejected by the Moonlight Pagoda. However, at this moment he had had enough. Ling Xiao must die. As long as he killed Ling Xiao and asked the ancient Boat King for help, he should be able to avoid the Moonlight Pagoda's eyes and ears. Whoosh! The doppelganger, Wang Nan, flashed and appeared in front of Ling Xiao. He struck out with both palms, full of power. Now that the secret room had been destroyed, he no longer needed Ling Xiao's ability to break the array formation. Naturally, he had to kill Ling Xiao with all his strength. Ling Xiao instantly entered his dragon form, and then opened his mouth to condense his true essence. Will of mountains and rivers, death dragons, roar! Brat, you still have a trump card. Seeing Ling Xiao suddenly erupt with the strength of a transcendent Realm 8-stage cultivator and enter his strange dragon form, Wang Nan's clone was stunned. However, relying on the fact that he could display 90% of his half-step Empyrean strength, he still didn't put Ling Xiao in his eyes. No matter what, you have to die. Your stubborn resistance is useless. Dark flame, divine palm. In an instant, his palms burned with black flames that were about a foot long. The terrifying flames made even Ling Xiao feel the aura of death. It was extremely frightening. Boom! The dark flame divine palm collided with the death dragon's roar, and the two black flames tangled in the air before exploding. The doppelganger, Wang Nan, did not retreat a single step, but Ling Xiao was pushed back more than 10 meters by the terrifying force, almost crashing into the wall. Fortunately, his movement technique was good enough to avoid that kind of ending. This clone Wang Nan is too strong. Even if I enter my ancient golden dragon form, I won't be his opponent, but Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a sneer. If it were before, he would have had no choice but to run for his life, but now he naturally wasn't afraid. Little beast, hand over your life. Don't worry, you'll die here forever. Of course, you can leave your body to this senior, ha 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 ha. After gaining the upper hand in one move, clone Wang Nan's aura soared, and the expression on his face became even more ferocious, vowing to kill Ling Xiao here and now. He could also see that Ling Xiao's body was extremely powerful. If he could borrow Ling Xiao's body, his clone strength would be even greater. It won't be me who dies, it'll be you. Ling Xiao summoned the Book of Seals. Release, Five-Faced Monster. The Five-Faced Monster was a 90% half-step heavenly venerable, comparable to Clone Wang Nan in strength. If he joined in, it would be a piece of cake to kill this clone. Moreover, the Five-Faced Monster card could be used 3 times. Even if he used it once here, he still had 2 more chances. Ling Xiao planned to use this kind of transcendent monster card as soon as possible. His cultivation was advancing very quickly, and once he reached the half-step heavenly venerable realm, he probably wouldn't need this level of monster card. If he didn't use it now, when would he? Boom! Suddenly, the huge Five-Faced Monster appeared in front of Ling Xiao. Kill him! Ling Xiao only gave 1 order, but it was enough. The doppelganger Wang Nan wanted to take advantage of the situation and kill Ling Xiao. However, his palm was blocked by a powerful force. The 5 heads of the Five-Faced Monster each released a different attack, which was not inferior to his palm power at all. What's going on? Why is there a Five-Faced Monster here, and why does it listen to him? Clone Wang Nan was shocked, completely unable to understand what was going on. He didn't know about the Book of Seals, let alone the sealing card. Facing the sudden attack, he could only react hastily. If I'm not wrong, as long as I kill you here, the flame deity will definitely sense it. I don't know if he's feeling better or not, but with his clone destroyed, he must be injured even more. Ha ha ha! Just thinking about it makes me happy. The Five-Faced Monster fought Clone Wang Nan. Ling Xiao sat on top of the Five-Faced Monster's head, looking very relaxed. If anyone thought he was slacking off, they were wrong. Chapter 571. Decades of hard work had been completely destroyed by Ling Xiao in a day. The flame deity's heart was bleeding. Boom! He suddenly broke open the stone door and turned into a black flame, rushing towards the Moonlight Pagoda. In fact, his injuries had already healed because he had used his doppelganger, and Hei Ling's help to get many good things from the Moonlight Pagoda. During this period of time, he had pretended that his injuries had not healed and was purely cultivating. His cultivation was no longer at the early stage of the celestial realm. He had already surpassed Wang Han Tianzuan, Heavenly Master Golden Light, and the others. He had completely become an influential figure among the inner sect elders. Ling Xiao did not know about the flame deity situation. After destroying Wang Nan's doppelganger, he used his Mountain River martial soul to search for Bai Feifei's whereabouts. Since he had killed Wang Nan's doppelganger, Bai Feifei could not be left alive. Otherwise, there would still be endless trouble. However, after searching the entire City Lord Mansion, he still could not find Bai Feifei's whereabouts. Instead, he found a dried corpse at the location of the dragon trapping array. After careful identification, he discovered that it was Bai Feifei. Damn, the flame deity is really ruthless. No wonder he could escape from my dragon trapping array. It turns out that he had absorbed Bai Feifei's true origin energy. Ling Xiao could not help but feel a chill. He felt that Bai Feifei, this woman, had only herself to blame. If it was her biological father, Master Bai Yin, he would definitely not do such a disgusting thing. However, Bai Feifei should not be dead. Perhaps she was sent out of the Moonlight Pagoda and eliminated. Since she was eliminated, that was good. This woman would not be haunted and always find trouble with him. Next, Ling Xiao planned to find Dai Yuling, Shang Wanlei, and Leng Hao. This was because to enter the 4th stage, at least 4 people were needed. When he took out the disc, he had analyzed it. The disc needed at least 4 martial artists to inject true origin energy at the same time to activate. Fortunately, he had 3 accomplices. Otherwise, he would have to ask Tantai Lingzi for help. Whoosh! Using the golden dragon wings, Ling Xiao instantly flew out of the city, Lord's mansion. With his speed, He could come and go freely in the Black Spirit City because none of the guards here could catch up to him. After tempering himself in the Dragon Land, Yang Kai had become more proficient in using his golden dragon wings. Yang Kai believed that in terms of pure speed, no one in the Transcendent Realm would be his opponent. The moment he stepped out of Black Spirit City, he suddenly frowned. He had almost forgotten that the dangers of the third stage would increase exponentially after a period of time. Although they had avoided the attacks of the level 8 and level 9 dire beasts, there should be even more terrifying, half-step, heavenly venerate dire beasts coming. The level 8 and level 9 vicious beasts should not act rashly because of the powerful dragon pressure in the land of the dragon. But half-step Empyrean, level fierce, beasts received very little effect. What was even more frightening was that it seemed that the Black Spirit Organization had also begun to act. Except for the Black Spirit Organization's leader, the Ancient Ship King, who was still on the Ancient Ship, the rest of the Black Spirits had spread out to kill all the Trial Disciples. Moreover, the Trial Disciples they killed would have their souls temporarily suppressed. Unless the Black Spirits were destroyed, they would never be able to leave the Moonlight Pagoda. Danger! I have to find Dai Yuling and the others quickly, lest they get killed before entering the fourth stage. While he sensed danger, the other disciples also felt the same. Tantai Lingzi Lulai, Dai Yuling, Shangguanlei, Lung Hao, and the others all felt their hearts tremble as an extremely dangerous aura lingered in their hearts. At this time, Dai Yuling's cultivation had broken through to the early Transcendent Realm 6th layer. Shangguanlei's cultivation had broken through to the late Transcendent Realm 7th layer. Lung Hao's cultivation had surpassed Shangguanlei's, breaking through to the peak Transcendent Realm 7th layer. They hadn't obtained any other opportunities and had instead been cultivating and improving their cultivations during this time. Relying on the pills and spirit fruits Ling Xiao had left for them, their cultivation had soared rapidly. Tantai Lingzi's cultivation had also broken through from the peak Transcendent Realm 8th layer to the early Transcendent Realm 9th layer, directly crossing the invincible and peerless minor realms. Lulai's cultivation had also improved, but it was the least, only reaching the peak Transcendent Realm 4th layer. In any case, all of these people who had devoted themselves to cultivation had broken through. Bai Feifei had followed the flame deity around, but her cultivation hadn't broken through at all, nor had she obtained any benefits. As for Wu Yang and Qin Wu, their situation was still unclear. These two had probably been possessed by the Black Spirit, but their cultivations hadn't changed, still at the Transcendent Realm's 7th layer. 4 Dai Yuling, Lung Hao, and Shangguanlei, entering the Moonlight Pagoda just once and achieving such a breakthrough in their cultivation. They were actually very satisfied. So even if they were faced with an impending crisis, they had nothing to fear. At worst, they would be eliminated. However, Ling Xiao couldn't let them die. After leaving Black Spirit City, Ling Xiao went to Dai Yuling's cultivation place first. When he arrived, several cultivators from the Black Spirit Organization were attacking the spirit array he had arranged with all their strength, showing signs of breaking. Ling Xiao coldly snorted, and the heavenly dipper flying swords pierced through the air, easily killing the Black Spirit Organization cultivators who were only at the Transcendent Realm's 7th layer. Yuling, come with me. Without explaining too much, Ling Xiao called out to Dai Yuling, and the two of them rushed toward Shangguanlei's cultivation place. Almost in the same situation, Ling Xiao rescued Shangguanlei. Next, Lung Hao. When Ling Xiao, Dai Yuling, and Shangguanlei arrived at Lung Hao's cultivation place, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. At this time, the spirit array protecting Lung Hao had completely shattered. A few hundred meters away, a terrifying giant stone monster was waving a big tree in its hand, wreaking havoc. A half-step, heavenly venerable level vicious beast. It seemed to be only 10% of its strength, which wasn't too strong. Ling Xiao analyzed the situation. Although Lung Hao's cultivation wasn't high, He relied on his excellent coping skills to survive despite being seriously injured. Five-faced monster, deal with that guy. The five-faced monster released by Ling Xiao from the seal card had been following Ling Xiao. In fact, Dai Yuling and Shangguan Lei had long wanted to ask what was going on, but because Ling Xiao was too anxious, they didn't have the nerve to ask. At this time, the five-faced monster broke through the air and fought with the giant stone monster. Only then did Shangguan Lei squeeze out a sentence. Senior brother Ling, it seems that you have obtained a great opportunity. It's just good luck. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and didn't explain much. He also had to keep the matter of the Book of Seals a secret. Otherwise, it would definitely arouse the greed of some people. While the five-faced monster was fighting the giant stone monster, Ling Xiao went to rescue Lung Hao and Dai Yuling began to help treat him. After saving all three people, Ling Xiao breathed a sigh of relief. There should be no problem with the fourth stage, and they could proceed. I'm really sorry I owe you another life. Lung Hao smiled bitterly. Chapter 572. We're all brothers of the same sect. There's no point in talking about this, as long as it's not against me. I, Ling Xiao, have always been very generous to my fellow disciples. Ling Xiao smiled. Words can't express my gratitude. I'll remember senior brother Ling's kindness. Lung Hao took a deep breath and said, Boom! At this moment, the five-faced monster had already finished off the giant rock monster. After all, the difference in strength was too great. The giant rock monster was definitely not a match for the five-faced monster. Ling Xiao went over and took the monster core of the giant rock monster. This was a necessary material for refining many medicinal herbs. It would naturally be useful in the future. Many of the materials on the giant rock monster were necessary for setting up formations. Ling Xiao had set up many formations in the past few days. Although he had prepared enough materials before entering the Moonlight Pagoda, the more materials the better. When he finished collecting all the materials, Lung Hao's injuries were almost healed. Let's go. I plan to go to the fourth stage. I need the three of you to help. Ling Xiao already knew the entrance to the fourth stage and had the key to it. Naturally, he had to go. No problem. The reason why the three of them could stay in the Moonlight Pagoda until now and obtain so many benefits was all because of Ling Xiao. Thus, when Ling Xiao asked them to do something, they were more than willing to do it. At the entrance to the fourth stage, the four of them suddenly stopped. A terrifying energy fluctuation came from dozens of meters away. The powerful and vast aura made it difficult to breathe. Oh my God, it's actually a celestial realm gatekeeper. Lung Hao frowned. Although he didn't know how strong the gatekeeper was, there was no doubt that it had reached the celestial realm. This was troublesome. It was a humanoid monster. Its figure wasn't too tall, only about 3 meters tall. Its hair and beard were all white. It held a very long crescent blade in its hand and sat on a giant rock. It didn't seem to have any intention of attacking immediately. What should we do, senior brother Ling? Lung Hao asked. We have to go to the fourth stage. As for this guy, I'll think of a way. Ling Xiao took a deep breath. In any case, the third stage was nearing its end. It was estimated that the monsters that would appear next would become stronger and stronger. It was even possible that in 2 hours a celestial realm monster would appear. There were only 2 choices for the trial disciples: either enter the fourth stage or be eliminated. Ling Xiao's choice was to enter the fourth stage. There was no doubt about it, because he really wanted to know what was in the fourth stage. Senior brother Ling, why don't the 3 of us lure that guy away? With your movement technique, you should be able to easily enter the fourth stage. Lung Hao suggested. There's no rush. Let me take a look at the Guardian first. Ling Xiao would not make any rash decisions. Even if he wanted to make a decision, he would have to wait until he understood the other party's situation. 5-faced monster, lure the Guardian away. Ling Xiao ordered the five-faced monster. The five-faced monster shot out a dark green poison ray at the guard with the crescent blade. After that, the gatekeeper reacted and really chased after the five-faced monster. It's not as fast as me, but it's faster than you. With your abilities, it's impossible to delay it. Take this opportunity to inject your vital essence into the disc. Hurry up! The Guardian did not kill the five-faced monster in one move, which meant that it was giving the trial disciples a chance to survive. In that case, Ling Xiao had a chance. He still had two five-faced monsters that he could use, which was definitely enough to stall for time. What he needed to do next was to quickly activate the disc. Understood. The other three did not dare to be negligent. They each stood on one side and reached out to the disc to inject their energy. Then, the four of them injected their vital essence together, and the disc began to flicker. At the same time, Tantai Lingzi and Lu Lai were also being chased by the third stage. They did not have the help of the five-faced monster, so even if they encountered a half-step celestial master with 10% of its strength, they would be in a very difficult situation. Senior Sister Tantai, I'll lure this guy away. You must survive, and strive to take the first place to show those people. Lu Lai's body darted, leading a half-step celestial master beast with 10% of its strength to chase after him. On the other side, Tantai Lingzi also began to flee. She sensed that there was definitely more than one monster chasing after the trial disciples. Before encountering greater danger, she had to try to enter the fourth stage. Lu Lai kept fleeing, but after all, he was not Ling Xiao. His speed could not be compared to Ling Xiao's, and the half-step celestial master beast was getting closer and closer to him. On Tantai Lingzi's side, she finally ran into trouble again. She was also facing a half-step celestial master beast with 10% of its strength. Although she was now at the early stage of the Transcendent Realm 9th level, she was not completely powerless against it. However, after this battle, she was afraid that she would be severely injured or even on the verge of death. Therefore, if she could avoid fighting, she would try her best not to. Instead, she sped up and fled. Those who stayed knew that the longer they could hold on, the more benefits they would obtain. On the steel warship, Wu Yang and Qin Wu stood in front of the ancient ship king, listening to orders. The two of you go and find Ling Xiao. After you find him, don't ask anything. Just kill him. The ancient ship king already knew what happened in the land of dragons. This Ling Xiao actually killed one of his valiant subordinates. He absolutely could not tolerate it. Wu Yang and Qin Wu, who were controlled by He Ling, were actually not themselves. Their strength now belonged to He Ling. One was at the peak of the Transcendent Realm 9th level, while the other was at the invincible 9th level. Yes, sir. The two figures rushed out and began to search for Ling Xiao's whereabouts. Time moved forward for a while. At the entrance of the Moonlight Pagoda, basically, all the higher-ups of the Yuehua school had gathered here, including the flame deity. Everyone in the sect was nervous and excited at the same time. According to the time, at this time, the disciples who participated in the trial were either trapped or had all broken the record. They broke the record set by the flame deity and headmaster Chang Yuing, at least in terms of time. As for the benefits, no one knew. After all, ever since Situ Jun was eliminated, not a single disciple had been eliminated. It's the 5th day. Do you think someone has found the entrance to the 4th level? Chang Yuing suddenly asked. Impossible. They should be avoiding the 3rd level now. How can it be so easy to find the entrance to the 4th level? Even this senior and headmaster couldn't do it. How can they do it? The flame deity absolutely did not believe that anyone could do this. However, in his mind, Ling Xiao's figure involuntarily appeared. That kid. What you can't do, others may be able to do. Heavenly Senior Golden Light sneered. At least I'm very optimistic about Ling Xiao. Maybe he really got a great opportunity inside and is moving towards the 4th level. Chapter 574. Wang Han Tianzuan, what do you mean by this? Do you suspect that my good disciple is lying? The Supreme Sect Master snorted coldly. La, it's not suspicion, it's certainty. Wang Han Tianzuan sneered. What she said is just one side of the story, and there are many illogical places in it. What did Ling Xiao do or not do? When he comes out, we will definitely investigate it clearly. We absolutely won't allow anyone to slander him. Chang Yueli really wanted to kill Wang Han Tianzuan on the spot. However, she suppressed her anger in the end. With the Moon Maiden present, if she were to make a move, it would definitely be impossible for her to succeed. My good daughter, you've been in the 3rd stage for so long. What rewards did you get? Tell the seniors and let everyone be happy. The flame deity was afraid that, by Fei, this stupid woman, would let it slip, so he quickly changed the topic. After all, he was Bai Fei's adoptive father and knew Bai Fei too well. The Supreme Sect Master Chang Yueying also had the intention of being a peacemaker. Anyway, the pagoda ascension ceremony was not over yet. Since that was the case, it was meaningless to discuss whose responsibility it was. It would not be too late to wait until Ling Xiao came out. Yes, Bai Fei, tell us about your gains. She also asked. Disciple has passed 2 stages and obtained 200 moonlight points. In addition, according to the time, I will be rewarded with an additional 50 moonlight points, which is 250. In addition, Disciple has also obtained a high-grade, gold-grade martial art, several treasured artifacts, and heaven and earth treasures. Bai Fei listed out the things she had obtained one by one. It could only be said that her gains were not bad. Although her cultivation did not break through, she still obtained some things. As long as she concentrated on cultivating for a period of time, her cultivation should still be able to recover. Yes, not bad. 250 moonlight points is enough to exchange for a top-grade, gold-grade martial art from the Moonlight Pagoda. You did well. Chang Yueying nodded and said, the Moonlight Pagoda was the wealth that the Moonlight Fairy had left for the Yuehua School. However, the things inside couldn't be taken out easily. There were only 2 ways to obtain it. One was to search for it through the Tower Ascension ceremony. The other way was to use moonlight points to exchange for it. As long as a trial disciple could pass the first 2 stages and obtain 200 moonlight points, they could actually exchange them for a top-notch gold-grade martial art. Of course, you can also choose other things to exchange for it. With an additional gold-grade martial art in the sect, there was no doubt that the overall strength of the sect would increase. From this point of view, this pagoda ascension ceremony could be considered a success. By Fei's results, although there was still a gap between her and the former headmaster Chang Yueying and the flame deity, but it was still a good result to be ranked in the top 10. If she was already like this, then wouldn't the other disciples who had not been eliminated gain even more? After all, according to the normal rules, the longer one stayed in the Moonlight Pagoda, the more benefits one would obtain. This is the 5th day of the trial. Back then, Empyrean Demon Flame and the headmaster stayed in the Moonlight Treasure Pagoda for 7 days, and in the end, they weren't able to enter the 4th stage. But this is already the best result in the last 1,000 years. The 2 of them have both obtained 1,000 moonlight points, and they are very close. Yang Danlin stroked his beard and said with a smile, I wonder who can completely break such a record? His words received the approval of many people. Regardless of whether Ling Xiao had committed many evil deeds, besides him, there were still Tantai, Lingzi, Lu Lai, Dai Yuling, Leng Hao, Shangguan Lei, Wu Yang, Qin Wu, and Wang Nan. There had to be someone who would completely break the record, right? Buzz. Just as everyone was filled with anticipation, another figure was thrown out. Wang Nan. After Wang Nan came out, he looked around blankly. He had no idea what had happened. In fact, since the 2nd stage, his soul had been imprisoned by the flame deity. Therefore, he had no idea what had happened after that. Capture him and interrogate him strictly. Elder Jean gave the order. Inside the Moonlight Pagoda, at the entrance of the fourth stage, the card Ling Xiao used to seal the five-faced monster had become blank. He had already used up all 3 chances. The gatekeeper was too strong. A five-faced monster with 90% of its strength at the half-step Heavenly Master level could not even last 60 breaths in front of the gatekeeper. Senior Brother Ling, the round plate has lit up. Let's go to the fourth stage? Let's go. Ling Xiao did not dare to wait. Seeing that the last five-faced monster was about to die under the gatekeeper's blade, Ling Xiao jumped onto the round plate with the other 3 people. The round plate emitted a dazzling light and then instantly shot into the sky and entered the circular passage. That was really thrilling. Senior Brother Ling, if not for you this time, the 3 of us would not have been able to enter the fourth stage. Lung Hao was very excited. He was already prepared to be killed, but he did not expect Ling Xiao to be able to find such a terrifying monster to fight and hold the gatekeeper back. The round plate stopped, and the 4 of them jumped onto the ground. The terrain of the fourth stage was not much different from the third stage, but it was filled with a vast and powerful aura. What was even more worrying was that the entire fourth stage was covered in a gray fog. Ordinary warriors would not be able to see beyond 3 to 4 meters. Ling Xiao tried to use his Mountain River Martial Soul to analyze the terrain of this stage, but to his surprise, this map only showed the situation within a 10-meter radius. Beyond that, it was pitch black and he could not see anything. It was indeed strange. To be honest, even I do not know what will happen in the fourth stage. Let's rely on our own luck. Ling Xiao looked at the other 3 people and said, "No problem." The other 3 people were very clear that although they also played a role in reaching the fourth stage, more than 90% of the credit belonged to Ling Xiao. They definitely could not be a burden to Ling Xiao. You guys be careful. Don't worry too much. From now on, every step is a record. Even if you are immediately eliminated, it is nothing. Ling Xiao smiled. Okay, then we will take our leave first. After Shangguan Lei finished speaking, he leaped towards the east. Senior Brother Ling, I will also take my leave. Lung Hao went to the west. Take care. See you outside the Moonlight Pagoda. Dai Yuling went to the south. Ling Xiao took a deep breath and was about to head north when he suddenly felt a powerful aura coming from the entrance of the fourth stage. He subconsciously used the Cloud Dragon Divine Travel to dodge in time. *CK, how did he catch up? What Ling Xiao saw was the gatekeeper holding the crescent moon blade. He did not expect this guy to catch up from the third stage. How unlucky. Ling Xiao did not think too much. He extended his golden dragon wings and flew towards the north. In terms of speed, he still had an absolute advantage. Therefore, he was not afraid that the gatekeeper could do anything to him. The gatekeeper also increased his speed and chased in the direction he fled. At the same time, there were some subtle changes in the third stage. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.